Persian eyes, but she's from Nicaragua. Thought you was Persian love. Are we turning up or are we wasting time? Girl, don't waste my time. No party, I don't just wanna chill with you. Oh no, I wanna turn up on. I wanna turn you on. I wanna let you. That's the least I'ma do. Ooh, fuck, I look like I don't wanna chill. I kiss in your eyes, you feel it, baby, can you feel me, baby? Can you feel it, baby, can you feel me, baby? Ooh, fuck, I look like I don't wanna chill. I kiss in your eyes, you feel it, baby, can you feel me, baby? Can you feel it, baby, can you feel me, baby? Oh, feel me, baby. Can you feel me, baby? Feel me, baby. Can you feel me, baby? Oh, feel me, baby. Can you feel me, baby? 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 Feel me, baby. No party, I don't just wanna chill with you. No, I wanna turn up on. I wanna turn you on. I wanna let you. That's the least I'ma do. Ooh, fuck, I look like I don't wanna chill. I kiss in your eyes, you feel it, baby, can you feel me, baby? Can you feel it, baby, can you feel me, baby? Ooh, fuck, I look like I don't wanna chill. I kiss in your eyes, you feel it, baby, can you feel me, baby? Can you feel it, baby, can you feel me, baby? Feel me, baby. Can you feel me, baby? Feel me, baby. Can you feel me, baby?
Whole team shining stars, big deal. Get a lot of hashtag gang in the city.
Good morning, y'all. Happy Tuesday. Come on in, come on in, come on in. I appreciate y'all joining this morning. I do. How y'all doing? How was everybody's Monday? Let's see. We got Mad. Hey, Mad. Hey, Fawn. Hey, Sanjia. Hey, Candy Corn. Sanjia, you in the bushes? Okay. Hey, ask questions. Hey, Miss Margie. Hey, Leah. Hey, Miss Carla. Hey, Sonia. All right, y'all, we're going to get started because we need to get caught up. So today, y'all, let me pull it up. Today, we're going to finish the day one testimony. Well, let me, for those that may be in here or may come in that don't know what we're covering. We are covering the case of the state of Georgia versus Miles Bryant. Miles Bryant is a 23-year-old ex-military, ex-cop who has been charged with, I don't know what this is. Anywho, he's been charged with several. Let's see. He is charged with the unaliving of Susana Morales, who was 16 at the time. Morales, yeah, who was 16 at the time. Okay, so we have covered the test. We've covered the opening statements on both parties, and we've covered. We've listened to the testimony of the mom, one of the sisters, and one of the best friends. I think today. Good morning, Ask Questions. We're proceeding with testimony from another friend, if I'm not mistaken. So let me pull it up. If y'all got any questions, please put them in the chat. Oh, hell. I ain't gonna do that. Miss Margie, I don't even see yours truly in the chat. Hey, Miss Marge. How you doing, sweetie? Good to see you. Okay, Leah. No problem. Y'all be sure to hit the like button, please, and thank you. All right, y'all. So let's get into it. Like I said, anybody got any questions, let me know, because I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking. We're just going to listen, unless there's a point I need to make, okay?
It may feel like 8 p.m.
Your Honor, may we grab some exhibits while we wait?
Certain. Y'all can walk around the courtroom. You don't have to ask me each time. And if the jurors want to stand up while we're waiting on a witness, if anybody needs to stretch their legs. Come up here. Right up here, ma'am. If you come up on the platform, watch your step, and remain standing, and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Please be seated. Ma'am, have you ever testified in court?
No.
Okay, this is my court reporter, Sheila. She's taking down everything that you say. I've had my bailiff pour you a cup of water, and we have more water if you need it. You're going to have to answer audibly because she can't see you. So I'm going to get you to say yes or no. You can't really say uh-huh You can't shake your head like you're doing now. And the attorneys they're going to be asking you some questions. Just take a breath after they finish their question and then you can answer it. You may anticipate their question. You want to get out their answer and you talk over them and then my court reporter doesn't know who to take down.
Okay.
Okay? So just, and let us know if you need a break.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm okay.
All right. Can you go ahead and tell us your name, please?
My name is Alyssa Marvin.
All right. And Alyssa, how do you spell your first name
ALYSSA
and your last name?
MARVIN
All right. And Alyssa, where do you live currently, generally?
in New Jersey.
Okay. And your presence here, did you get on a plane yesterday, fly down here for this trial?
Yes, I did.
I want to take you back a couple years, July 2022. Where were you living at that time?
In Sterling Glen Apartments.
All right. And here in Georgia?
Yeah.
And, there at that apartment complex, are you from Georgia?
Yes.
Okay. And who were you living with at the time?
My boyfriend's mom.
Your boyfriend and his mom?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to show you a photograph. I've labeled this State's Exhibit number 50. Can you take a look at that? Do you recognize what's contained here in this?
I'm sorry, y'all. I knocked myself out. Did it knock the? Oh, okay. It didn't knock it out. Apologize for that.
This photograph?
Yeah, the apartment complex.
Okay, the Sterling Glen apartment complex?
Yeah.
Does this appear to
Good
be an
morning, Ms.
accurate
Gloria.
aerial photograph
Good
of the apartment
morning.
complex?
No, it's accurate.
It is?
Yes.
Okay, Judge, I move to admit State's Exhibit number 50.
No objection.
Okay, State's Exhibit 50 is admitted without objection.
And Judge, may I?
And ma'am, you've got a screen right here beside you. And I'm gonna, there's kind of a glare, so I'm gonna turn it down and the attorneys may have questions for you about this exhibit.
All right, Alyssa, can you see that clearly?
Yes.
All right. Could you tell the jury where, if you recall, do you remember what building you were living in at the time?
I don't remember.
By looking at the map, do you know which of these buildings
Yes.
you lived in? And if it's all right with the court, with you, Alyssa, so the jury can see it a little bit better. This is a bigger picture here. Could you point out which building it is to the jury?
Be careful your step.
Okay, right here. This one right here?
Yes.
Okay. Now, before you sit down, let me get out of the way so everybody can see you, not me. Did you know Kelly Pagoda?
Yes.
Okay. And did she also live there in the neighborhood with you?
Yes.
Do you know which building she lived in?
Like kind of behind.
Oh, and I want you to follow. Oh, up here somewhere?
Yeah.
One of these buildings?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're down here on this side of it. She's up here on Windscape Village Lane North. I guess they're all Windscape Village Lane Northwest.
Yeah.
All the roads are named the same thing, but she's up here on this first one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Now, tell me, how did you know Susanna Morales?
I knew Susanna through Kelly. They were walking through the neighborhood one time and I just saw them and I was like, y'all are some pretty girls. And I didn't have friends, so that's really how it started. And I said they were pretty, got their number. It started from there.
Okay. And, how long had you known Susanna before she died?
I don't remember an approximate date, but it was during that summer around June and July.
So by July 26th or so you might have known her a month or two?
Yeah.
at that time?
Yes.
Okay, I got you. Now, how often would you spend time with Susanna?
I would say we've been around each other at least 4 or 5 times, maybe.
All right. And where would y'all hang out at?
Just the neighborhood.
At the Sterling Glen apartment?
Yeah, Sterling Glen.
All right. When you would hang out with Susanna, would it also be with Kelly each time?
Yeah.
All right. What kind of things would y'all do?
We would just like talk, smoke. We would just really just chill and talk about stuff,
I do. What, you say smoke, you're talking about cigarettes, marijuana?
Marijuana.
Marijuana. Okay. And Alyssa, when y'all would hang out, where in the apartment complex would y'all normally hang out at?
Either the pool, the park, on my stairs, or in a laundry room. Because they had laundry rooms and that's where we would smoke so when other people won't inhale it and stuff.
Okay.
So
I understand. So on this map, and you don't have to get up, I can obviously, I look at the map, I obviously see, this is where I'm pointing it right here. Is this the pool
Yes.
area of the neighborhood?
Yes.
Okay, so y'all would spend time there?
Yes.
Now, the laundry room, were those in each building or is it like one common?
It's in some buildings, not all of them.
Okay, did your building have one that you hung out in?
No.
Okay, and so would you go to a different, what building would you go to?
Well, it was one time we went to a building, and I believe it was the first time we actually hung out, and we were smoking in the. You want me to point where or no?
You can, that's fine if you feel comfortable doing it.
Be careful your
It
step.
was like, right here, they had a laundry room right here.
Okay. So while y'all are hanging out and talking,
Mm-hmm.
what are y'all talking about? What kind of things are y'all discussing?
Honestly, I can't remember.
Okay, just odd and end stuff or?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you, did you ever talk about boys?
No.
Okay. Did you know whether Susanna was dating anybody at the time that you knew?
Honestly, I didn't know that because we didn't really talk about, boys and stuff.
Okay, and that's all right. What was, I want to take you to July 26th, 2022. Did you see Susanna that night?
Yes.
And tell the jury, kind of walk us through that night. What happened?
So the night of the 26th, Kelly and Susanna came to my apartment. It was like maybe around 7 or 8 o'clock p.m. And we started with doing piercings because my sister-in-law wanted a belly piercing. So we were doing a belly piercing, just taking videos. And of course we did smoke. And after that, she ended up, Kelly couldn't have company over after a certain time. It was a school night. So after that, she ended up leaving my apartment. Both of them walked away from my apartment around like 9:30, somewhere around that time. I can't remember specifically what time, but it was around that time they ended up leaving my apartment. From there, I don't know what happened until the day I found out that she was walking with Kelly to the golf court, and then Kelly went home, and then she went, as we thought, home.
So the last time, what was the last time you saw Susanna?
That night when she walked away.
And I'm going to show you what I've marked as State's Exhibit number 49. I want you to look at this and tell me if you recognize it.
Yes, that was the video we took.
Okay. And obviously this is a piece of paper, so this is not a video, but is this just a still shot of a video?
It's a video, yes.
Okay. Well, would y'all go ahead and turn that on for a second? Thank you. Is this a fair and accurate screenshot of that video that you took that night?
Yes.
Judge, I move to admit State's Exhibit number 49 and ask for permission to publish.
No objection.
Okay, State's Exhibit 49 is submitted without objection, and you may close.
No. Okay. Can you see that?
There's a glare. And you can also look at it on this screen.
Yes.
Can the jury see that? Okay.
Can you tell us just kind of who's who in this photograph?
That's me, the white girl. That's Kelly in the middle, and that's Susanna on the left side.
Are you taking this video with your phone there?
Yes. I love memories.
What's that?
I love memories.
And this says, it says 9:04 p.m.
Yes.
July 26th at the top. Is that a reference to the time in which this video was taken?
Yes. That was right after the piercing.
Right after the piercing. And
Yeah, you can kind of see, if you kind of zoom in, you can see where the piercing is, because that's like also part of my phone gallery.
where the so
Yeah.
you mean over here in one of these photographs?
Yeah, you can see like the time frame. And then that was like the last video we took. And then you can see the next video is a video I took when I went inside
Okay, I understand. Where is this video taken at?
on the stairs at the top.
In your apartment?
Yes.
Okay. And 9:04 p.m. How long after this photograph do you think that Kelly and Susanna walked her off?
I can't remember exactly, but no more like after 9:30.
Now let me ask you, why did they leave? What was y'all were having a good time hanging out?
Yeah, we were having a good time, but I have a stepson, so there's a bedtime, and I had to get ready to go inside, and then they had a school night, so we're getting prepared for school.
Okay. And so walk me through, if you can remember best you can, kind of the conversation that's happening right there at the end of the night, right? And as it's coming to a close and they're leaving, what are y'all saying?
It was nice hanging out with you. I'll see you later.
Okay. Where did, at that time, where did you believe that they were going?
I just knew they were going home.
Okay. Had that been the discussion? Everybody was going home?
Yeah.
And another way of asking this, maybe it's a little differently, is did Susanna or Kelly talk to you or say anything to you about, we're going to go party, we're going to
No.
go do more drugs somewhere, we're going to go meet some boys, we're going to, anything else?
No.
Okay. So it was, we're going home.
Yes.
That night, how was Susanna acting?
To me, normal.
And what I mean by that is, was she happy?
Yes,
Was she having a good time with you guys?
definitely. You could kind of see her smiling in the picture.
Did you have, as she left, any concern at that point?
No.
You mentioned that you didn't, after they left, and then walked with Kelly and Susanna, after they walked away, you didn't really know anything else happened odd or weird until the next day?
Correct.
Okay, and what was the first thing that you heard?
The first thing I heard was, well, it wasn't hearing, it was a text from her best friend Rose, Esme, they call her, and she was just asking me, did I know where Susanna was?
You know what time that was?
Not really, but it was like early in the morning.
And you mean like daytime early in the morning, or like
Yes.
middle of the night early in the morning?
Like after 8 a.m.
That's morning. All right.
Okay.
Had you heard from Susanna at all?
No,
Any calls, text messages, social media, anything
no,
after she left?
no.
Did y'all have each other's information? You had each other's phone numbers?
We only had each other's Instagram.
Okay, so did y'all communicate on Instagram?
Sometimes, yeah.
Did you have any conversations, communications whatsoever with Susanna on Instagram after she disappeared?
Oh, no.
Did you, were you able to participate in looking for her at all?
I was able to.
Okay, and what did you do?
Well, when we were doing one of the flyers, like putting out flyers, I would put out flyers when I got the chance to, but I was going through a lot at the time, so it was hard for me to focus on what was going on because I was going through a lot.
I understand. That evening, did you notice anybody as y'all were at the apartment complex? Did y'all spend the whole time at your apartment that night?
Yes.
Did you notice anything unusual that night? Anybody watching or anything?
No.
The defendant, Miles Bryant, have you seen him before?
Yes.
In person? Have you seen him?
Yes.
Okay. And did you, at the time that this happened, did you know who he was?
Yes.
All right. Tell the jury, how did you know who he was?
We all knew it was a cop in our neighborhood, so we knew him as the cop.
Okay. Did you know where that he resided there in the neighborhood?
Yes.
Did you know what building he was at?
Yes.
Hi, Slay.
I'm gonna
Hey, yours truly.
Number 50.
Hold on. I missed your comment. You said curious question. So the parents of these teenagers didn't notice that the child was high. Well, I mean, the Susanna's mom stated that she knew she smoked weed. So basically, I mean, I don't know if, because she said she stayed with her boyfriend's mom, and I don't know who the other young lady stayed with, but from what I surmised, they knew they smoked weed. I know for a fact that Susanna's mom knew she smoked weed. She said it on the stand. She knew she smoked weed.
A little bit. Thank you. Are you able to see in this photograph the building that the defendant lived in?
Yes.
All right. And could you point it out to us?
Yes.
You have to speak up.
I'm sorry. You had your head turned so you to
Okay. Mine was here. His was here.
So yours is this building right here.
Yes.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
his is this building right here.
Yes.
How'd you know it was his building? You can see.
I knew it was his building because his truck was always parked there. He always pulled up like in the same truck.
Do you recall what kind of truck that was?
I think it was a black truck.
Black truck. Yeah, a police car that was there as well.
Yeah, Dorville.
And so you said everybody knew who he was. He was he the courtesy officer for that neighborhood complex?
I honestly don't know that.
Now, had you ever had any personal interactions with the defendant before Susanna disappeared?
Yes.
Can you tell us what those are?
So there was one time Well, there was multiple times he would drive by and, you know, he'll say hello and everything to everyone. And it was one time we were at the pool and it was me and Kelly. Susanna came after, like towards the end before we left. But we were there at the pool and he came with his backpack and he had a drink with him. He had little shot cups and he had edibles and stuff. And he asked how old I was. And then when I told him my age, he like still wanted to talk to me, but didn't talk to me because of my age. So he knew not to drink with me, but he wanted to drink with me before he knew my age. But he still offered the edibles. But then that was the interaction I had with him that night. And before we left, I believe it was the same day, we wanted to order pizza because, you know, it's a hot day outside. Someone wants to eat. We wanted to eat and we was going to order pizza. He offered us to give us a ride to get pizza, but we said no because we're underage, you're grown, you know, so we said no to that. We ordered pizza. We went home about our day. That was like the one, like I could say face-to-face interaction, full conversation.
And Susanna was with you
Yes.
during those?
Yes.
Now, the defendant, was he talking to you or talking to both of you?
No, he was talking to me.
I want to show you a photograph marked State's Exhibit number 39. Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes.
All right, and how do you recognize it?
That was the night we were leaving the pool.
All right, night you said we were leaving the pool. I know who you're talking about, but
Oh, that was the night me, Kelly, my stepson, Susanna, and my sister-in-law were leaving the pool to walk home.
now you say you're leaving the pool. Is this the same? Is that the same incident you're talking about where the defendant had come to the pool to see you guys?
Yes.
Okay. Is that a fair and accurate? What is this photograph of?
It's of Susanna holding my stepson because she loved holding kids.
Okay. And is this a fair and accurate photograph?
Yes. Yes.
Judge, I move to admit State's Exhibit 39 and ask for permission to publish it.
No objection.
Okay, State's Exhibit 39 is admitted without objection, and go ahead and publish.
Would you publish it? Okay. All right. So here at the top of that photograph, if we can zoom in kind of closer to the top if you can. There we go. There appears to be a location and date
Yes.
up there. Is that does that reference when this photograph was taken?
Yes.
All right. And what is the location and the date?
Sterling Glen Apartments around, it was July 20th.
Okay. Now, and I'm that was going to be another question I had. But in
Okay.
terms of this photograph, where does the photograph say it was taken?
Oh, it says it was taken July 30th, 2022 at 3:31 p.m.
Okay. And is it in Norcross?
Yes.
July, and it says July 20th,
Yes.
2022?
Yes.
So that was, this photograph was taken about 6 days before Susanna was last seen.
Yes.
And this is your stepson?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. The incident with the pizza, was that the same day or a different day?
I believe it was the same day.
Same day, okay. So you said the defendant had offered to give you and Susanna and Kelly a ride to go get pizza?
I can't remember who exactly he offered a ride, but I know for sure it was me and my sister-in-law.
Okay, all right. And y'all turned him down?
Yes.
You mentioned that he gave you edibles, there's like THC edibles?
Yeah.
Did you take any?
Yes.
Did you ever, other than smoking marijuana with Susanna, did you ever take any other drugs with her?
No.
And after that day, as they walked away, have you ever seen or heard from Susanna again?
From
Susanna, after that day?
which night? Which day?
I'm sorry, I should have been more clear. After she disappeared, July 26th, and Kelly and her walked away from your apartment, have you ever seen or heard from her again?
No.
Alyssa, I appreciate you being here and taking the time. Ms. Drakeman has some questions for you.
Does the defense have any questions?
Hi, Ms. Alyssa. My name is Tracy Drake. We have met. I know you got to get done, so I'm going to make this quick. Do you ever remember calling Mr. Bryant 13?
Wait, repeat that?
Have you ever called Mr. Bryant 13?
No, I don't know what that means.
Okay, has he ever hung out with you and your boyfriend?
Not hung out, no, but passed by and said hello, yes.
Maybe have a brief little conversation and then go
Yes.
about each other's ways. Okay. And how old were you? And I'm sorry if you've already answered this. How old were you back in July of 2022?
I was 17.
Okay. And so legally an adult at 17, but still too young to drink, correct?
Right.
And your sister-in-law, how old was she?
She was the same age as me.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Steady, may we direct? May we release Miss Martin? Miss Marvin?
Yes.
No, Martin, Miss Marvin, may we release?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I apologize.
Yes, and just for the record, she will be departing and not subject to recall.
Not subject to recall. Thank you, ma'am. Have a safe flight home.
Thank you.
If the attorneys will approach.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, y'all. So the lawyers are talking to the judge, and whenever that happens, they mute it. Okay. Anybody got any questions? Let me know.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're going to take a 10-minute comfort break, and I expect we'll be releasing court 5:15, 5:30 at the latest, okay, tonight. So 10-minute comfort break.
All right, so let's fast forward. They're taking a break.
State, call its next witness.
You judge still call Kevin Gunn?
Can you make me a copy of the witness list tomorrow? Just remind me.
Your Honor, may we just approach real quick?
Sure. Ma'am, would you stand on the podium? I'm gonna swear.
Sorry.
Okay, no, you're fine. If you raise your right hand, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, if you please be seated. There's a trash can for you to get rid of your gum. Have you ever testified?
No.
Okay. My court reporter Sheila, she's taking everything down and she has to make a record. So that's why you have the microphones. I'm going to need you to speak into the microphone. The attorneys are going to be asking you questions. I'm going to need you to answer audibly because my court reporter can't tell if you're nodding your head or if you say or uh-huh. So we need to get an answer, okay? You may, as you're listening to the questions, know the questions that the attorneys might ask you, and you may want to try to get the answer out, but please don't talk over them because you can't take down two people at once. Would you like some water before you start?
I'm good.
Oh, fresh water. Okay, if you need some, let us know.
Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. If you would if you'll just lean up just a little bit for me so we can get your voice picked up on the mic just a little bit better. Could you tell us your name?
My name is Kelly.
And Kelly, what's your last?
My name is Kelly Pagona.
All right. And could you spell your?
Now, mind you, this is Kelly, and the young woman that just got off the stand. Her and Kelly, the mom, did not approve of Susanna hanging with them. The mom did not approve of her hanging with Kelly and the young lady that just got off the stand because she didn't feel like they, she probably knew they smoked weed and this and that and the third. She probably thought that Susanna, some parents think that, their child is only doing this and that and the third because they're hanging with people that are doing it, right? So the mom did not approve of Susanna hanging with Kelly and the young lady that just left the stand. In fact, on the night of her disappearance, she lied to her mom about hanging with another friend when in actuality she was going to hang out with Kelly and the other young lady, okay? Right. Okay.
KELLYPUADA.
All right. Kelly, how old are you?
I'm 17 years old.
All right. Now, in 2022, July of 2022, how old were you?
I was 15.
15 years old. All right. And are you in school?
Yes, I am in school.
And where you go to school at?
I go to school in Acceleration Academy.
Okay. Are you off for the summer?
No, it's all year round school.
Year-round school. So no summer break for you?
No.
All right. Did you at least get a break today being here?
I did.
So I want to ask you just a little bit about you. Where do you live at currently?
I live at Sterling Glen Apartments.
And did you live there back in July of 2022?
Yes, I did.
All right. If you go ahead and put up for me exhibit number 50. It's already been admitted. I guess. I'm going to show you this just an aerial map of that apartment complex. If you could, I want you to tell the jury which apartment building is yours. Okay. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You haven't seen that?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You got to answer out loud.
Okay.
Okay. Can you? It may be easier for you to step down, or tell me which building is yours.
You can just be careful, there's steps going down the podium.
Where the little location icon is at? Right there.
I think it's merged with this.
Okay. I know it's weird looking at it from an above view, but when you come into the neighborhood over here.
It's like from the office area, you go down this way, so I live right here.
Okay, right there.
Ma'am, my court reporter can't hear you, I can tell. So because that's okay. Just if you speak loudly when you're away from the microphone.
Okay.
I didn't mean to bring you back. If Mr. Delphine, if you need her down there, that's okay.
I think I got what I needed, Jeff.
Okay.
That's all right. Yeah, Kelly, when you step down and turn around, it's a little bit quiet.
Okay.
And that was my fault. So.
You're fine.
Did you, at the time, how long have you lived there?
About, I don't know, like 10 years probably.
Okay. And so I imagine you got to know a lot of people there. Did you ever meet a girl named Alyssa Marvin?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And did you know which apartment building was hers?
I didn't know, but I know where she lived.
You know where she lived?
Yeah.
Are you able to point it out? If you don't remember, that's okay.
It's just on the other side of my building, like behind mine.
Okay. And on your screen, so you don't have to step down again. Can you see where it is on your screen?
It's right behind my building, like on the other side.
So one row down. So come over here. Is this about where she lived at? Over here in this area?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever visit her there?
Yes, I did.
Now, tell me about Susanna Morales. Were you friends with Susanna?
Yes, I was friends with her.
How did you meet
I met her at school in the restroom, and ever since then, we didn't stop talking.
So, you met her, what school was it?
At Meadow Creek High School.
Meadow Creek High?
I'm gonna get you to come on toward the microphone, or you can pull them toward her. Yeah. All right, there's some tissue right there, ma'am.
It's all right. You can take it.
All right.
You want some water?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Would you like some water?
No, I'm fine.
Kelly, you said that you met her there at the school, and were you guys kind of inseparable from then on?
Yes, we were.
And how long, and we don't need exact dates, but just the best that you can remember, how long before her death was it that you guys met and started spending time together?
Can you ask that in a different way?
How long before she disappeared did you meet her?
Like, I'm gonna say like a year.
And how often did you talk to her?
I talk to her every day. Like, we hung out every day since the day we met.
Now, where would y'all spend time together at?
It would usually be at my house or Esmeralda's house.
So were you and Susanna and Esmeralda all friends?
Yes, we were.
So did you ever hang out over at Susanna's house?
Sometimes. Like,
How many times did you spend?
like 3 times the most.
So obviously, it sounds like more times at your house
Yeah.
than at Esmeralda's house. Now, what did you call Susanna?
Susie?
Susie.
Mhm.
Now, tell us a little bit about Susie. What kind of things did she enjoy doing?
She liked going out. She liked going to parties. But she really just liked to be with her friends or with me. You know, like we didn't have to go nowhere. We could just be together at my house. But yeah.
And what kind of things did y'all talk about?
We talk about boys, school, our future plans, and, you know, all of that.
And Kelly, you're doing a great job, but if you could, just a little.
Sorry.
You pull the microphones towards you, towards your mouth.
I'm a little bit closer to you than Ms. Drake, the jury member, so I'll
Yeah.
all right. Was she happy?
She really was.
And, when y'all would spend time together, would you oftentimes smoke marijuana together?
Yes, we would.
I want to bring you to such a time on July 26th, 2022. Did you see her the night she disappeared?
Yes, I did.
Tell the jury kind of walk us through if you can that night.
So basically, we just planned to hang out that night, and we ended up going to Alyssa's apartment, and we didn't go in her house, but we were just at her staircase, and I was piercing her sister-in-law, and we were just smoking. We were just hanging out, and then by the time it was like 9, I told her we had to go home because she could not sleep over at my house. Like, it wasn't allowed. So then we ended up walking to the back of the gate to the apartments, and then I just said goodbye, and then I never saw her again.
And so just a few follow-up questions about that. Would you put up Exhibit 49 for me? When you guys got together that night, how did Susanna get to your house?
I think she walked, but don't quote me on that. Like, I think she walked over to my house.
Unfortunately, we are quoting because it's all being.
Sorry.
No, you don't really know.
Yeah, I don't.
And that's okay. Did she just show up at your front door, or did you meet her somewhere?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't remember.
That's okay. Do you remember, and again, we're not looking for exacts.
Yeah.
Just approximately, if you best you can remember.
Mhm.
Do you remember when she came over?
It was like in the afternoon, like at 4 or 6, because it was around the time my mom had got home, and she usually got home around that time. So
What
yeah,
time was
like
it?
4 or 6, like in the afternoon. Yeah.
Do you recall, how long do you think that you two hung out together before she ended up going home?
Like 4 or 5 hours.
And did you spend time how long were you, let me ask you this, I'm going to ask you to describe. Was it all at Alyssa's house or your house, son?
I don't know. I don't remember.
So up on the screen that you have it there is our State's Exhibit 49. Do you recognize that?
I do.
Okay. Is that you in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, where was this? Do you recall where this photograph was
Yeah,
taken?
that was at Alyssa's apartment.
Now, it says on there 9:04 p.m. July 26th when that, I think it's a video, or a photograph was taken. Do you remember how long after this that you had started walking Susanna home? Or to the end of the edge of the neighborhood?
Probably like around 9 or 10. Like, I started walking with her.
You said around 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Photograph here.
So yeah, at 9. I mean at 9:30. Sorry.
Oh, that's
Okay.
So, and this has been a long time. So
Yeah.
if you don't remember something, you're doing a great job. Just tell me you don't remember. You walked her, and I'm going to put, if you could just put up, if you did it 50 for me. Did you walk her to the main entrance of Sterling Glen?
No.
Or a different entrance or exit?
Yeah, it was my back entrance by the golf course.
Okay. Now, can you see that photograph? We were just looking at this one, Stacy Exhibit 50. Are you able to see where it is that you walked her to?
Yeah, I walked her right there.
Okay, now you're pointing on the screen, so that you don't have to get up. I'm gonna point where you were pointing, and you tell me if I'm all right.
Okay.
All right, okay? So you were pointing up here?
Yes, I was.
Okay, so this road here, as I'm looking at it, does that exit onto Singleton Road?
Yes.
Okay, so you walked her to there,
Yeah, the gate.
to the gate.
Mhm.
I'm gonna show you what I've marked. I don't know if I showed them straight, so let me show her. Mark the Stacy Exhibit 36. Do you recognize Stacy Exhibit 36? Take a look at it. I don't know if you recognize it.
Yes, that's the back of my gate.
I'm sorry, it's what?
That's the back of my gate.
Okay,
Yeah.
the back of the gate. Is that the gate that you were just talking about that you walked
Yes,
into?
that's the
Is
gate.
this a fair and accurate photograph? of the
Yes.
gate? All right. And again, you're doing great, but I need to make sure that I finish my question all the way before you answer
Okay,
it,
sorry.
so that Ms. Sheila can take it all down, okay?
Mhm.
Judge, I move to admit State's Exhibit number 36.
No objection.
Okay, State's Exhibit 36 is admitted without objection.
Oh, is it Your Honor?
Yes.
Put it on, please. All right. This here, you described this as being the back gate of your Sterling Apartments.
Yes.
Now, where can you see on this photograph where you walked Susanna to?
Yes, it was just right about there. Like, can you point at it?
Okay. Did you walk on the sidewalk?
No, I didn't. I didn't go
So-
past the
so we're
gate.
back into- So you never passed the gate here,
Yeah, I didn't.
but you walked her to the edge here up near the gate?
Yes.
Okay. And where did she go?
She went that way. Like,
That way, all right.
Going towards her
I know you're
house.
pointing, but I want to make sure we're clear.
Yes.
Did she walk down Singleton Road
yes, she
in this
did.
direction?
Yes, she
Okay.
did.
Okay, ma'am, I'm going to ask you to wait.
Okay, sorry.
Mr. Gilmore finishes his statement, his
Yeah,
question. He's going to ask
sorry.
you a question. The lawyers only ask you questions, and then just take a breath and then answer.
Okay.
We have to have a good record, okay? It's human nature to do that.
Okay.
So, Kelly, you indicated a moment ago, did she walk down, come to the right of this photograph down Singleton Road?
Yes.
And is that the direction in which she lived?
Yes.
Do you know of any other reason for her to walk that direction that night?
No.
Where was she going?
She was going home
And how did you know that?
because where else would she have gone? Like, we planned to hang out the next day, so she had to have gone home.
And I want it to be a little bit clear. As the night's wrapping up,
Yeah.
right? Most of the time, if you're at a party or hanging out with friends, you don't just disappear, right? There's a conversation, I gotta go home, it's time to go home, I'm tired, I want to go to bed, something like that.
Yes.
Did y'all have any kind of conversation that night where, to close down the night, right, at the end of the night?
Yes.
Let me ask you, did she tell you she was going home?
Yes, she did.
And where did you go?
I went home as well.
Now, as soon as you started walking down Singleton Road, did you turn around and just go back to your house at that point? Or
Yes. No, I didn't watch her. I just turned around.
at any point that night, as you're walking out to walking her out to Singleton Road for her to leave, did she tell you anything about wanting to go and meet up with a boy or go and get drugs or anything like that?
No.
Did she say she was going to go anywhere or do anything other than go home?
No.
Was she upset?
No.
Was she ticked off at her mom?
No.
Was she scared of going home?
No.
Who do you know at the time who Susanna was dating?
Yes.
Who was she dating?
He was dating Axel.
Axel.
Or what? I don't know. I was like, I don't know his name. But
Is it Axel?
I think so. Yes.
All right. Did you know him?
No, I didn't.
Did you ever met him?
No.
Did she tell you about him?
Yes.
And how did she feel about him?
She really liked him.
You knew Susanna for about a year.
Yes.
You spent about every day with her, or close to that. Talk to her every day?
Yes.
And y'all talk about boys?
Yes.
Was Susanna, was she the kind of girl that when she was dating Axel, that she talked about going and meeting up with strange men, things like that, or hooking up with other men while she was with Axel?
No.
Did you ever know Susanna to be the girl that would get into a car with somebody she barely knew or didn't know at all?
No.
That night, once she left, what was the first sign you got that something might be wrong?
The next morning, Esmeralda texted me if I had known anything about her. And I told her no because she told me she went home, and then I had called her and she wasn't answering or picking up her phone. So that's when I knew that something was wrong.
So that's the next morning.
Yes,
And daylight hours?
yes, like in the morning.
So the rest of that night, once you turned around and went back to your apartment, you had no idea that anything had happened.
No, I didn't.
Once Esmeralda asked you, did you try to reach out to Susanna?
Yes, I did.
Did you get any response from Susanna? Any calls or text messages once you tried to reach her?
No, I didn't.
Were you able to participate in any of looking around or trying to find her in any way?
No, I wasn't.
Now, after that night, after you saw her walk down Singleton Road and disappear, did you ever hear from her again?
No, I didn't.
How did you hear about the police finding her body?
It was through Esmeralda, and she called me. Just give me 1 second. And she was like, they had found her, but I thought like she was still alive. Like they found her, because she had been missing. But then she told me that she was dead, and then they had just found her remains. And then I hung up the phone call, and I went to go see her after.
I apologize.
I'm sorry. And then I went to go see Esmeralda afterwards.
When you found out that she was not,
Man, you really shouldn't say something like that and then go back to the bushes, man. My God, today, man, can you please at least elaborate on what you mean? What suspect? I know you in the bushes, but can you drop down and tell us what suspect? Okay.
what went through your mind?
It was just really disappointing because I had hoped that we would find her, and then that she was just somewhere else, but she wasn't. And it was just really heartbreaking.
I mean, her body language, like, I don't know. I don't see anything wrong about it. I think she's upset and don't want to be there. She's young and nerdy. Yeah, she ain't but 17. And I know her ebooks be say, and I know she does look, when she said 17, my mouth flew open like y'all's, but these young people these days. But before the tears, I ain't catch it. I ain't catch it. Like I say, I do know she's young. I do know she's probably very uncomfortable. I do know she lost her best one, well, her friend. I don't know. I have to watch closer.
Sorry, I don't be talking about it.
You don't have to apologize. I think those are all the questions I have for you.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am, just stay seated. The defense may have some questions for you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And we've probably seen each other out in the hallway, but we haven't officially met. Did you have to be home by 10 o'clock?
Yes, I did.
So you would have walked her out probably right around 10.
Yes.
Why could she not spend the night at your house?
My mom didn't allow any sleepovers.
None at all. It wasn't anything to do with.
No.
Now, you met her a year before at Meadow Creek High School.
Yes.
Did y'all attend any other schools together?
No, we didn't.
Did you attend any other?
Yes, I did.
Where did you attend?
I went to Gibbs Center West.
And what is Gibbs Center?
It's an alternative school.
Ma'am, I'm gonna have to get you.
I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna have to get you, okay, wait for Ms. Drake's question and then speak into the microphone so that we
Okay.
can take down.
Sorry.
Is there a particular reason why you walked her to the back entrance? Was that just closer to her apartment or something?
Yes, because I couldn't walk her all the way home
Why?
because I didn't want to. Like, I couldn't. It was too late.
A little bit too high, maybe?
What do you mean?
Too high from smoking?
No, I just couldn't walk her down.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. See, oh, like I know, she's not. She's 17, Miss. You saying she look older, Miss Carla? She looks older, but she's 17. But listen, I get it that defense attorneys, they have their job to do and this and that third. But I don't think, as defense attorneys, you have to be an ass. I just don't. I don't think like. Now, me myself thinking as a parent, I'm thinking like this. No, the first question she asked was, "Why didn't she spend the night?" And for anybody that's paying attention, for anybody that's a parent, knows that on a school night, on a weeknight, first of all, because see, mine myself wouldn't have been out at 9:30. And well, I ain't gonna say that, but anywho, hey Rosalind, she asked her why didn't Susanna spend the night. Common sense will tell you. And then the girl stated in her direct testimony that she was not allowed to have people spending the night, right? Hey, Gabe. She did not allow, her parents did not allow, you know, sleepovers or whatever. She said that. Then common sense would tell you that lets you know she's young. No one asked that. Ask what? Then common sense will tell you that most parents on a school night don't allow sleepovers on a school night, and you can't be out past a certain amount of time. All right. So then she asks, "Well, why didn't you walk her home?" Well, it was, I guess it was time for her to go home, go in the house or whatever. So she didn't walk her home. But for her to come back and say, "Why didn't you walk her home? You were too high." I don't think that should have been even allowed to say. Maybe the judge gonna say something. I don't know. But I just don't see where you have to be an ass and being a defense attorney and you know, talking to this young girl. Anyway, let's listen.
Did she call her mother to come pick her up?
No, she didn't.
Did your
Ebru,
mom
to
pick
be
her up?
honest, Ebru, you're gonna have to write complete sentences because I'm not understanding what you're saying. You said that lets you know she's young. No one asked that. That's a great. You say that they were getting high. First of all, the female that came up on the stand before her stated that they were getting high. The young woman that came up before her stated they were getting high. That's a great question to get to the root of things. What's a great question, man? What's a great question? Cause see, I know y'all be in or out of this stuff, and y'all don't hear some things that's being said. But the whole weed smoking thing, to me, honestly, is not nothing new. The mom sat up there and said that the girl smoked weed. The friend got up there and said they were smoking weed the day she went missing. Yeah, I figured that. First of all, I mean, okay, this is the thing though. But what I'm trying to figure out is what either one of them getting high got to do with anything. To be honest, like teenagers getting high, that seemed to be the thing to do today. I don't necessarily agree with it, but hey, they ain't my kids. I can't even tell you how hard it is to keep up with what teenagers do. But I understand that getting high, they want to make getting high a part of this. You feel me? Like honestly, they want to make it a part of it because and I don't know if people realize it, but in court situations, the defense's job is to make the victim the guilty one. You know what I'm saying? Like they do their best to make the victim look bad. I wouldn't give a damn if all of them was high, which they probably were because they were smoking weed. What that got to do with what this man chose to do to that young girl is beyond me. I don't see why it's even a big deal in this trial. But hey, okay.
No, she didn't.
If she left, may I approach your business?
You don't have to.
Oh, no, I was just gonna. And I just wanted to clarify something. Thank you. Because I didn't do this. State's Exhibit 49. I just want to clarify, that is like a single picture taken from a full video.
Yes.
And did y'all make other videos that night or?
Yes.
I wanted to show you State's Exhibit 18.1. Before I do that, did y'all leave once she got to your apartment other than going to Alyssa's?
Can you ask that one more time?
Other than going to Alyssa's, did y'all leave your apartment?
I don't remember.
Okay. And she would have left a little bit before 10 because you had to be home by 10.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's already been entered as State's Exhibit 18.1. Now this shows that she left about 9:58.
Mhm.
Do you have any idea where this is showing that she's traveling?
My apartment complex.
Within your apartment complex,
Yes.
she's walking around. Why did she end back up at your apartment complex? Did she tell you she was going back to Alyssa's?
No.
Do you know Jasmine, her sister?
No.
Do you know Kaya?
Yes.
Now, whenever y'all would get together to smoke, who provided the marijuana?
It would be both of us.
So she would bring her own marijuana and you would have your own?
Yes.
Do you know where she
Ma'am, I'm going to ask you to wait till Ms. Drake
Oh,
finishes
I'm
the question.
sorry.
Okay, you've got to not talk over.
I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry, Ms. Drake.
No, you're fine. So everybody would have their own marijuana.
Yes.
Did Alyssa have her own marijuana that night?
I don't remember.
So y'all were really good friends?
Yes.
And she came over all the time?
Yes.
Did you know that her mother instructed her that she's not to go over and hang out with you?
No.
So if she's hanging out with you a lot of the time, her mother does not know that?
Yes.
How could you possibly know what her mother knows?
Ms. Drake?
Okay, I'll withdraw the question.
Okay.
Did her mother ever bring her to your house?
No.
Did she ever allow her mother to come pick you up at her house?
No.
And you know the evening that y'all hung out, she told her mother that she was going somewhere else. Did you know
That's
that?
speculation.
I asked her, did she know that? She didn't say yes or no.
I'm going to allow the question. I'm going to rule objection.
Did you know that she had told her mother that she was going to Esmeralda's house and not your house?
No, I didn't know.
Did Esmeralda know that she was coming over to your
I'm
house?
going to object to speculation. How did you know what Esmeralda knew?
Do you know, yes or no, if Esmeralda knew that she was coming over to your house and not hers?
I'm going to.
No, I'm going to sustain that objection.
Are you and Esmeralda friends?
Yes.
Do you and Susanna, did y'all often cover for each other?
What do you mean?
Cover for each other. Maybe you're going someplace you're not supposed to be or wanting to skip school or something, help cover for each other.
I guess.
Did she miss a lot of school, to your knowledge?
Object to relevance, Judge.
I think it can become relevant, Your Honor.
Well, it's not relevant right now. It can be.
I'm going to sustain that objection.
Did you miss a lot of school?
Yes, I did.
If I can have just, let me go back for 1 second. Were you familiar with her social media post?
Yes.
So did you follow those regularly?
Yes.
Did you maybe at first think that she had simply just run away or something?
No.
Do you remember giving an interview to, I believe it's Sergeant Biggards, and I'm sorry if I lost his title. Do you remember talking to him at the Gibb Center on January the 5th, excuse me, that's your birthday, on August the 15th of 22?
I don't remember.
You don't remember talking to him at the Gibb Center at all?
Was he like the social worker?
He's a police officer in Gwinnett County.
I don't remember talking to an officer at Gibb West.
Do you remember talking to, perhaps you thought he was a social worker along with the SRO,
I don't know what that is.
the police officer for the school?
No, I don't. I remember.
If I can have just a moment, please.
Certainly.
And to your knowledge, if you don't know, you don't know, which is fine. Did you and Susanna get your marijuana at the same place?
No.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, may we release this witness?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, ma'am. You're excused. And you can remain in the courtroom or you can leave. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not going to start with the next witness because I believe she's going to be the next witness on the stage. She's going to be a little bit more lengthy and I don't want to keep you past 6. So I'm going to get started and stop. If you'll leave your notepads, as always, you cannot talk to anyone about this case, cannot talk to anyone at home, cannot look up anything can't Google this case, can't look up any incident locations that you learned here today or previously, can't speak with your fellow jurors. Or look up any news about this. I also want to caution, I totally understand that I keep it cold, but sometimes in the afternoon after lunch, if you get tired, I want you to be aware of that. Bring caffeine if you need it, or ask me to take a break. I'm going to need you to get enough sleep and do what you need to do to be able to pay attention to tomorrow and not have any I just want to ask you to please consider this is a very important case, as all cases are, but it's a very important case, and I want you to get enough rest so that you can stay awake and alert tomorrow. And we'll see you at 8:45. We plan to begin at 9. We will be taking some things up after you leave to try to prevent anything from delaying us in the morning. So if you leave your notepads, and you're excused for the evening. Thank you.
I wonder if they honestly think these people don't go home and look stuff up about these cases. I wonder if they honestly think that jurors don't go home and watch TV, watch news, watch the internet and see stuff that's going on with these cases. It's not, to me, plausible for did the victim mom ever have a conversation with this grandma about her? Don't know, Miss Margie. Have no clue.
First, I want to go through the bench conferences with Mr. Bryant beginning this morning. We had a bench conference regarding your situation at the jail, your accommodations, and how that we can make sure that you can go over any information that Ms. Drake and Mr. Dobbins need you to go over. I think we've resolved that for the day. Is that correct, Ms. Drake?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then the second bench conference we had, was a scheduling to determine whether I was going to still break for my noon meeting, my noon judges meeting. And we talked about scheduling. We decided to go ahead and start the first witness. or the second witness. I think that was, we decided to go ahead and start the second witness. We broke. In between, when we did decide to break, in between, that was another bench conference to determine if it was okay with your counsel, Ms. Drake, to break, and then after lunch come back and do cross-examination. The fourth bench conference was when I told Susanna's mother that she had to remain outside the courtroom, and Mr. Delflunk asked to approach because she is next of kin and she can remain in the courtroom even though she's not released. The fifth bench conference was about Juror 13 being asleep multiple times in the afternoon.
I was gonna say a juror must have fallen asleep for her to get those instructions. So juror 13 been falling asleep in court. They need to get their ass out of there, because the thing about it is, like, if you falling asleep in court, just like y'all are in here listening, right? And even though y'all listening, you missing stuff because you probably multitasking, like you probably doing other things. So just like with E. Bruce missed something that was said, right? So if you a juror and you're sleeping or nodding, that means you can miss something. Because one thing that really is a pet peeve of mine is like when someone asks a question right after a statement is made about that question. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess people that don't pay attention. So if you're a juror, right, and you're in the courtroom, you're supposed to be listening to the facts, you listen to this case, and something is stated, and then when y'all go back to deliberate, you gotta ask another juror, well, was this said? Was this asked? Was this said? They need to get up out of there. If you can't stay woke in court, man, you need to go. Did y'all just miss that one?
Six, the bench conference, the sixth bench conference we had was that jurors 14 and 15 had trouble hearing because the interpreter was interpreting live to the victim's mother on the front row next to them, and I directed the interpreter to move to the back of the courtroom and to wear an earpiece. And then the last bench conference was to determine if we were going to call one more witness or two more witnesses before we adjourned for the day. Ms. Drake, does that jive with your recollection and notes as to all our bench conferences today?
That's what I'm saying, Ebro. So imagine, like, you just listening, right? You just supporting, you just here supporting. So you listening and you're interested. Hold on one second, y'all. So this is the thing, Ebro. So you just listening, right? We just listening to do content or whatever. But just imagine being a juror and you sitting up there, you supposed to be hearing crucial information that can determine whether or not you vote guilty or not guilty, and you sitting up there nodding. Right? No, not the case. Hold on. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. No, so ask questions. Not the whole entire not the I can't even get my thoughts together. The proceedings. Like the proceedings shouldn't be dismissed, but that juror needs to be dismissed, because with juries, they and I was gonna play, because I got the live of when the jury was selected, but I chose to skip that so we can kind of catch up. But it's a process, right? And so they select the 12 jurors that's going to, preside over the case, but then they select alternates, right? So in case somebody has to be dismissed. So I feel like if one of them is falling asleep and not paying attention, not listening or whatever, they need to be dismissed and one of the alternates need to be brought in, period. I mean, you sitting up here, you got a man's life in the palm of your hand, life in prison or whatever, however, and you sitting up there falling asleep, not paying attention. Yes, that's what I was saying. Okay, yeah, ask questions. It's crazy, but anyway, let's listen.
Yes, ma'am, I believe there might have been one more, and I'm not sure if we all approached or if it was just me, Mr. Delphine, about a relative losing the hearing aid.
That's true. Yep. And I don't know, yes, you requested if, I believe the defendant's grandmother had lost her hearing aid and wanted to move.
Yes, ma'am.
And I said she could move to the second row.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't, and all four attorneys did not approach you and Mr. Delphine on that.
Yes, I believe so.
And Mr. Fisher also approached.
Oh, that's right. Yes, she did. Mr. Donnelly did not. Does that, do you also concur that those are all 8? If we include the last one about the grandmother, about Mr. Bryant's grandmother, that would have been 8 for today.
Judge, all of that seems accurate.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. We are adjourned for the evening and we will start at 9. Well, hold on. Let me just see if there are any matters. Are there any matters that we anticipate?
No, ma'am.
Because if we anticipate some matters for tomorrow morning, but I'll come early. I've told the jury I want to start at 9. Does the state anticipate anything that needs to be heard outside the jury tomorrow?
Oh, Judge, I have nothing to hear outside the presence.
Okay. Does the defendant have anything that they anticipate they might need to hear outside of the jury tomorrow?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Does the defense have anything that you might need to have heard outside the presence of the jury tomorrow?
No.
Okay. All right. We're going to start at 9 and hopefully bring the jury in at 9. Just certainly, you can keep it. I mean, y'all can keep it. I mean,
All right, let me see if anything else is on this particular live. Let's see, that might be it. Okay, so let me pull up the next one, y'all. That was actually still day 1, and so today we're gonna get started on day 2. Okay, day 2, the testimony. Let's see. All right. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Okay, here it is. It's crazy. Hi, Duchess. All right, let me pull it up for y'all. Is this actually day 2? Look like you got the same clothes on. I think it is. Let's see.
I'll only point out that on
This might be a continuation.
the record, I believe that Mr. Drake, on behalf of her client, is not objecting to the order that the court has imposed, and affirmatively here before the court to that, thereby waiting to make sure that everybody's aware, as the court has already numerously pointed out, this trial is being video recorded and streamed live to via, I believe, multiple media outlets, including Fox 5, I believe, NBC, Channel 11 is also streaming part of it. So anybody who chooses to watch and want to view these proceedings, they are able to do so live. Also, I'll note that the court has not excluded any particular people or portions of people or groups of people from the courtroom at any point, but rather issued an order simply restricting entry and exit during trial testimony. So on those grounds, I have no objection. And I just wanted to get an affirmative statement from the defendant that they are not objecting to any of the court's order.
That was going to be my next question.
And Your Honor, we are not, and Mr. Bryant, did I discuss that with you this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
And how I felt about it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did I ask you if you were okay if I represented to the court that we did not object?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you okay with the order?
Yes, ma'am.
And let me clarify something that the prosecutor said. He used the word close the courtroom quite a number of times. That is not what I am doing. The courtroom is open, but people may not enter or exit the courtroom except when I'm on a break or in between witnesses. The interpreter just came in violation of that order, and I'm going to ask the interpreter, and I checked with AOC, and Armando's going to work with you. Interpreter needs to be using headsets, needs to be here before court starts, and needs to be in that corner with the mother in this corner, because we are having videography, and there have been distractions with the interpreter. So I spoke with AOC, and I'm guessing you didn't get that information. Court commenced at 9 a.m. today. So please let anyone know who is working and giving you a break or substituting out. I have informed Armando of the DA's office, who's in charge of the victim's family, and I have informed AOC. So you're not going to be able to set up now because we're going to start trial. So please take your seat. You can't be standing because that's a security risk to my deputies. All right, state ready? Is defense ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you had a good evening. We are ready to continue with the state's case. Mr. Delfont, are your next witness?
Thank you, Your Honor. The state is going to call Esmeralda Castillo.
She's in the restaurant.
Situation one. Eddie, would you mind pouring her some water? And if we run out, I have bottled waters in my refrigerator. You can grab one at any time if we run out.
I'm sorry, y'all. Side note, sidebar. All right, this has nothing to do with the case, right? So listen, somebody tell me, and this case ain't funny at all, y'all, but I'm finna put a little humor in it to wake y'all up. Why is that bailiff over there to the right, the female chick? Why she sitting there like she ain't got no neck? That woman look like all her neck, like her head just started on her cheek. Y'all. Man, Margie, why is your cousin sitting in the courtroom like she can barely breathe and she don't have no neck? What's wrong with her? All right, y'all. I'm done. I had to get that out. I've been looking at that ever since we started. I'm done. Memage, you know that's your Memage. Memage, you know that's your hey, amazing. Now you know I ain't wanna not head and shoulder. So Jill, y'all that came out the bush and listen. Y'all know I be trying to do. I know, but y'all know I be trying to be serious on these court cases because it's really sad. But I gotta keep y'all woke and I gotta keep y'all. But that woman looked like she ain't got no neck at all. Like, and then she look. Remind you, go get your cousin. Yeah, I gotta wake him up, bitch. I gotta wake him up. You know, if the jury was sitting over there asleep, y'all probably going to sleep. But I don't go to sleep. See, I watching those trials to know it can be tedious. You know what I'm saying? But you do have to pay close attention because not you will miss some, some stuff. But I gotta keep y'all woke. So y'all tell me why that woman don't have a neck over there, around yonder, right there. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, everybody. Back to the business at hand. All right, man. Thanks for dropping down. They said Jill drop down. Amazing to drop. I've been trying to hold it in. I said I wasn't gonna say nothing, but I can't. It's like every day she don't change the apostle and she just sit there. Like she just barely breathing. No neck at all. I know, Slay. I'm sorry. I had to ask the question though, but don't nobody know. That mean mind your cousin. Good live. I ain't want to say nothing either, Liv. I had to wake y'all up though.
Okay, she's here. Okay, thank you. Good morning. Just come right up here, ma'am. If you'll come up on the podium and remain standing, if you'll raise your right hand, you look at me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Please be seated, ma'am. And Ms. Castillo, have you ever testified in court? Okay. My bailiff has given you a cup of water. That's fresh water. We have more behind you if you need some more. Everyone in the courtroom has to hear you, but especially this is my court reporter right here. Her name is Sheila. She cannot see in the back of her head, so she can't tell if you nod or say or So we may say, would you please answer yes or no? Is that a yes? We're going to need you to come forward or to bring the microphones up towards your mouth so you can be heard. And lastly, the attorneys are going to have some questions for you, and you may anticipate the questions, and you may want to make sure you get the answers out and start talking before they finish their question. Then Sheila can't take down both of you. She has to make a decision, and then we don't get a perfect record, okay? So with those rules, I'm going to let Mr. Delfunk start the questioning, okay?
Good morning. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Would you please introduce yourself to the jury? Give us your name.
Hi, my name's Esmeralda Castillo.
And would you mind spelling your name, please?
ESMERA.
Okay, so that's another one of the friends. That's another one of the friends. That was Esmeralda, Alyssa, and Kelly. Now, as far as Esmeralda, I think that if I'm not mistaken, y'all, and it's probably gonna come up again, but I think this is the friend whose house Susanna was supposed to actually be going to, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So it was Esmeralda, Alyssa, and Kelly. Kelly and Alyssa, the mom did not approve of, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the young lady whose house Susanna was supposed to actually be going to. All right. If I'm mistaken, I'll let y'all know, but I think that's right.
Castillo will be CASTILLO.
Thank you so much. And Esmeralda, what do you normally go by? What name do you normally go by?
I go by Rose.
Rose, okay. Do you mind if I call you Rose? Okay. As I ask you questions, if I ask you anything that you don't understand, just go ahead and let me know, okay? And I can rephrase that question, all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Rose, can you tell me, tell the jury, how old are you?
I'm 18 years old.
18. In July of 2022, when Susanna was killed, how old were you then?
16 years old.
And where do you live?
I live in Hoy Taylor Drive in Norcross.
Is it Hoy Taylor Drive?
Hoy Taylor.
Okay. And who do you live with?
My mother and my little brother.
Back in July of 2022, did you live at that same house?
Yes, sir.
And who did you live with at that time?
My mother and my little brother.
Okay. Now, I'm going to show you, if I can, a map here, which has already been admitted as State's Exhibit number 32. All right, I'm going to walk with you just now, folks. Thank you so much. I'll stand behind you over here, if I can, so the jury can see. Can you see this as I'm holding it? Okay.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So on this map here is Singleton Road here, and this is Santa Ana Drive, where Susanna lived. Where do you live in relation to Susanna?
I lived in the neighborhood across from her.
Okay, so this road, and I'm going to turn this just so we can see everybody here. This road here directly across the street from Santa Ana Drive, is that Hoy Taylor Drive?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long, did you ever visit Susanna at her home?
Yes.
Did she ever visit you at your home?
Yes.
And how long of a trip is it if you are walking to in between the two of your homes?
Depending on how long it takes for us to cross the road, because that is a busy road, it could take 5 minutes most.
At most.
At most, yeah.
So if it's a really busy day and you have to wait for traffic to pass on Singleton, and it's a bad day, that's at 5 minutes at most.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so less than that normally if it's not busy.
Yes.
How often would you see Susanna?
At least once a week at her house.
At her house?
At her house, at least once a week.
And she would come and visit you at your house?
Yes.
Tell the jury, just walk us through a little bit. How did you meet Susanna?
I met Susanna in middle school. We had a class together and we just became friends.
What middle school was that?
Red Loft Middle.
And how long before she was killed did you meet her? How long had you known her?
I would say 5 years.
Now, describe your relationship with Susanna.
We were friends. As any best friends are, we would argue, but for the most part, we had fun together. We didn't have to do much to be happy around each other.
You described her as, was she your best friend?
Yes.
What kind of things would y'all do together?
We would go roller skating. We would watch TikToks in my room, paint, play instruments, girl stuff.
I understand. What kind of instruments did y'all play?
I had a piano at my house and a ukulele. She had one of her own as well, so we would use those.
And you said that you met her at Red Loft Middle School. After you finished middle school, did y'all attend school anywhere else together?
We attended Meadow Creek for 1 year together.
Okay. Are you in school now?
Yes.
Okay. And where are you in school at?
I just finished at Phoenix High School.
Okay. Did you just graduate?
No, I'm in the current process of getting my diploma.
Fantastic. And so you said that in a week's period of time, how many times did you and Susanna hang out in total?
Almost every day.
Almost every day. Now, that's hanging out in person?
Yes.
And as people do, particularly younger teenagers, did you also text and send messages on social media between each other?
Yes.
And was that an everyday thing?
Yes.
Now, describe for the jury, did you call her Susanna or did you call her something different?
I called her Susanna.
Susanna, okay. Was she happy?
She was very happy.
All right. And when y'all were hanging out together, was she happy?
Yes.
You and her were best friends, but were there other people that you two would hang out with in a friend group?
Yes.
Who were they?
That would be Kaya.
All right. Kaya Jones?
Kaya Jones.
Okay. And how did you know Kaya?
We also met through middle school in the same class that I met Susanna.
Was that around the same time?
We all met at the same time.
Okay. So you and Susanna and Kaya, at the time that Susanna was missing, was killed, y'all had been friends for about 5 years?
Yes, sir.
And would y'all spend time together in a friend group?
Yes.
Did you know any of other friends of Susanna's, Kelly or Alyssa?
Yes.
All right. And tell me, how did you know that?
Susanna introduced me to them.
Okay.
Just
And
a random day.
could you repeat that last part?
Just on a random day, she introduced me to them.
Okay. And how long had you known them? When did you meet them?
I met Kelly maybe a year before Susanna went missing, and Alyssa a couple weeks before she went missing.
Did you ever spend time as a group together with Susanna and Kelly or Alyssa?
I spent time with Kelly, yes.
And where would you guys spend time at?
My house.
Now, is your family that you live with, was your mom okay with your friends coming over and spending time at your house?
Yes.
I find that oftentimes in a friend group, there's someone's house who tends to be kind of the hangout house. Was that your house?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how often would you spend time together with Susanna and Kelly and Kaya?
All of us, maybe a couple times a week, 2-3 times.
Mostly at your house or somewhere else?
Mostly at my house.
Did you ever spend time together with them over at the Sterling Glen apartments where Kelly and Alyssa lived?
Yes, sir.
And tell us about that. Where would you go, or where would you spend time at over there?
We would be at the park mostly. If not the park, we'd stay on the staircase near Alyssa's house, or we'll just be in Kelly's room.
Okay. Now, during those times when you were hanging out with Susanna and the other girls, would y'all ever smoke marijuana together?
I would not.
You would not. Were they ever smoking marijuana while you were
Yes.
I want to take you to July.
Hold on a minute, y'all. I gotta rewind that part. My daughter was talking to me. I wanted to hear that part where they asked about the marijuana. Because for some reason, the marijuana aspect is very important in this case. It's very important for some reason. Let's see.
We had a class together and we just became friends.
What middle school was that?
Red Loft Middle.
And how long before she was killed did you meet her? How long had you known her?
I would say 5 years. We were friends, as any best friends are. We would argue, but for the most part, we had fun together. We didn't have to do much to be happy around each other.
You described her as, was she your best friend?
Yes.
What kind of things would y'all do together?
We would go roller skating. We would watch TikToks in my room, paint, play instruments, girl stuff.
Nice. What kind of instruments did y'all play?
I had a piano at my house and a ukulele. She had one of her own as well, so we would use those.
And you said that you met her at Red Loft Middle School. After you finished middle school, did y'all attend school anywhere else together?
We attended Meadow Creek for 1 year together.
Are you in school now?
Yes.
Okay. And where are you in school at?
I just finished at Phoenix High School.
Did you just graduate?
No, I'm in the current process of getting my diploma.
Fantastic. And so you said that in a week's period of time, how many times did you and Susanna hang out in total?
Almost every day.
Almost every day. Now, that's hanging out in person?
Yes.
And as people do, particularly younger teenagers, did you also text and send messages on social media between each other?
Yes.
And was that an everyday thing?
Yes.
Now, describe for the jury, did you call her Susanna or did you call her something different?
I called her Susanna.
Susanna, okay. Was she happy?
She was very happy.
All right. And when y'all were hanging out together, was she happy?
Yes.
You and her were best friends, but were there other people that you two would hang out with in a friend group?
Yes.
Who were they?
That would be Kaya.
All right. Kaya Jones?
Kaya Jones.
Okay. And how did you know Kaya?
We also met through middle school in the same class that I met Susanna.
Was that around the same time?
We all met at the same time.
Okay. So you and Susanna and Kaya, at the time that Susanna was missing, when missing was killed, y'all had been friends for about 5 years?
Yes, sir.
And would y'all spend time together in a friend group?
Yes.
Did you know any of other friends of Susanna's, Kelly or Alyssa?
Yes.
All right. And tell me, how did you know that?
Susanna introduced me to them.
Okay.
Just
And
on a random day.
could you repeat that last part?
Just on a random day, she introduced me to them.
Okay. And how long had you known them? When did you meet them?
I met Kelly maybe a year before Susanna went missing, and Alyssa a couple weeks before she went missing.
Did you ever spend time as a group together with Susanna and Kelly or Alyssa?
I spent time with Kelly, yes.
And where would you guys spend time?
My house.
Now, is your family that you live with, was your mom okay with your friends coming over and spending time at your house?
Yes.
I find that oftentimes in a friend group, there's someone's house who tends to be kind of the hangout house. Was that your house?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how often would you spend time together with Susanna and Kelly and Kaya?
All of us, maybe a couple times a week, 2-3 times.
Mostly at your house or somewhere else?
Mostly at my house.
Did you ever spend time together with them over at the Sterling Glen apartments where Kelly and Alyssa lived?
Yes, sir.
And tell us about that. Where would you go, or where would you spend time at over there?
We would be at the park mostly. If not the park, we'd stay on the staircase near Alyssa's house, or we'll just be in Kelly's room.
Okay. Now, during those times when you were hanging out with Susanna and the other girls, would y'all ever smoke marijuana together?
I would not.
You would not. Were they ever smoking marijuana while you were
Yes.
I want to take you to July 26th of 2022, the day that Susanna was taken. Do you remember that day?
Yes.
And if you would, please tell the jury, where were you at that day?
I was at home.
Had you seen Susanna that day?
No.
When was the last time, if you remember, that you saw Susanna in person before she was taken?
Maybe 2 days prior.
And what were y'all doing?
I believe we were just hanging out at a party and at my house.
Okay. Now, you have phone number. Did you have their phone number? Susanna's phone number, Kaya's, Kelly's phone numbers?
Yes.
Would y'all text and call and send messages to one another over the phones?
Yes.
On that night, July 26, 2022, what was the first time that you realized something might be wrong with Susanna? What was the first thing that happened?
When her mother had called me asking me where she was, and I had called her and I didn't get a response from her.
Okay, so tell us about that. Did you get a call from Susanna's mother?
Yes.
And did you answer that call?
Yes.
And if you recall, what time was that?
I did not remember.
Let me ask you, was it daytime or nighttime?
Nighttime.
And what were you doing when you got the call?
I was in bed.
Did you, had you texted with, before Susanna's mother called you, had you texted with Susanna or talked with her that day?
No.
When Susanna's mother called you, did you know where Susanna was at that time?
No.
So tell us a little bit about that phone call. What happened during that phone call with Susanna's mother?
She called me asking if Susanna was at my house. Of course, that's my best friend, so I will back her up. I told her that Susanna was leaving while I was able to get enough time to get a hold of Susanna.
Okay. So Susanna was not at your house, but you told her mother that essentially she was at your house and that she was leaving.
Yes.
Why'd you do that?
Because Susanna's my best friend and I didn't want her to get in trouble.
Okay. So we're covering.
All right, so this is the thing. So this is the friend, right? So this is the thing. So Esmeralda, which is this pretty young lady right here, she knew that I think she pretty much knew that Susanna's mom didn't approve of her being with the Kelly and them, right? So when the mom called, and this is what teenagers do, let's not act like this is not what teenagers do. They do it all the time, which in a lot of cases can be very, very dangerous, such as this one, right? So when her mom called, when Susanna's mom called her and asked her was Susanna over there, and she knew she had not talked to or seen Susanna, she quickly in her mind surmised that Susanna was with Kelly and them, who she was not supposed to be with, and who the mom did not approve of her being with. But she probably thought, yeah, since the mom calling me, asking me, was she over here, then she must be over there. So she covered for her. She covered for her, and she said she's leaving. Now she's not here because no. Well, Miss Margie, like I guess what you're saying could be true, because what you're saying could be true because this is the thing. The guy stayed in the apartment complex where Kelly and them stayed, right? So she went to the apartment complex that night. He probably saw her, which he been watching. Listen, him showing up at that pool that day, if y'all remember, him showing up at that pool that day when they were all at the pool was not a coincidence. And he had probably been watching them, y'all. He had probably been watching them or whatever. And you could be right, even though it seems like real mean, but you could be right, because if she had not gone to that apartment complex that night, look, we can never say what might or may not have happened, because the guy could have at any point did this. It just so happened to happen on that night, right? So it is a little, it's something to think about, that if she had not gone to that apartment complex that night where she was not supposed to be, then maybe you know, she would still be here, but we don't know that. Because I honestly believe that that guy was watching them young girls, you know. He showed up at the pool with what? Well, I think she said like beer or something and gummies. A whole police officer now. So I don't know, Miss Margie. You might be right, but you know.
But at that time, when you told Susanna's mother that, did you know where Susanna was at?
No.
After you, I can imagine as a best friend, and you just told her mother that, did you try to contact Susanna?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I contacted her, calling her, no response. So I texted her and told her that her mother was looking for her and she better be on her way home before I get in trouble.
Okay. And do you have any idea approximately what time you sent those messages to Susanna?
I do not remember what time.
Okay. Did you ever receive a phone call or a text back from Susanna kind of acknowledging the messages that you had sent to her?
No.
So after you sent those messages to Susanna, tell us what was kind of the next thing happened that night, if you remember.
I started contacting Kelly and Kaya to see if maybe she was with them. That is when Kelly had informed me that she had hung out with her prior, but she had already left her house.
Okay. So did you call Kelly or did you text her or was it on social media? Do you remember?
I believe I texted her on Instagram.
Instagram. Now, you reached out to Kelly. You were just asking, have you seen her, or what was the nature of the message you sent?
I asked her if she was with Susanna.
And what was her response?
She said that she had just left her house.
So once Kelly sent, and did she respond to you on Instagram at that point?
Yes.
All right. Now, after you got that message, what'd you do?
After I got that message, I had contacted Kaya just to double make sure because I didn't have her location. And that is when Kaya, we were just on the phone. I don't remember what happened after that.
Now, you said you didn't have her location. Do you mean Susanna's location?
Yes, sir.
And how would you have had her location?
You can have someone's location through iPhone or Life 360.
Did you have those applications? Well, I know on the iPhone, there's the Find My iPhone feature that's on that. Did you have the ability to see Susanna's location?
I hadn't heard that, Miss Rosalind, so maybe you may be ahead as far as the testimony is concerned. I haven't heard that or seen that. But I didn't even know that. But that's my thoughts though. That he had been, I won't say stalking. I do want to say I think he was watching them or whatever. And he was watching them that night, which is probably why he saw her walking away from those apartment complex alone. But did you hear that in this trial, or did you hear or see that somewhere else, Rosalind? Because I hadn't even heard that. Kind of reminds me of that other case we was into, but okay.
Location with the Find My iPhone feature?
I did, but I did not use it.
Okay, so that now you didn't look at the Find My iPhone?
Yes.
Life 360, did you have that application?
Not at that time.
Not at that time. Okay. Had you had it before?
Yes.
And when you had it before, were you sharing your location with Susanna?
Yes.
Was she sharing her location with you?
Yes.
Now, how long before she was taken did that stop? Did you stop using the Life 360 application?
I don't remember.
And maybe a better question, just to kind of narrow it down. It was before that day? Was it before that day that you stopped using the Life 360 application?
Yes.
So when you looked, you didn't have any way to see where Susanna was at that time?
Yes.
So because of that, did you contact Kaya?
Yes.
And why did you contact Kaya?
Just to double make sure that she was in the correct area.
Did Kaya, to your understanding, did Kaya have the ability to check and see where her location was?
She did.
I'm sorry?
She did.
Okay. When you called Kaya, did she give you any information about Susanna's location?
I don't really remember the conversation we had, but to my knowledge, I don't even think she answered that phone call when I called her. We had talked afterwards.
Okay, so we'll get to that. But you called Kaya did you call her pretty quickly after Susanna's mother called you?
Shortly after.
And to your recollection, she didn't answer that call at that time?
Yes.
How long after that did you actually talk to Kaya?
Kaya had called me a couple minutes afterwards.
And so you talked to her at that point?
Yes.
At some point, did Kaya send you screenshots or location information for Susanna?
Yes.
What kind of things, what was, if you remember, What did she send you?
She had sent me a crash detection alert that she had gotten through her phone. So it was a screenshot of that, of Susanna possibly being in a car crash.
You got that information from Kaya, and when you got it, your best friend possibly being involved in a car crash, what did you do?
I kind of freaked out because I hadn't heard from her and I knew she wasn't home yet through her mother. So I had gotten on the phone with Kaya to speak about it, and I woke up my sister and we went to the location of where the car crash was detected.
So your sister, what's your sister's name?
Zaire Parada. Zaire Parada.
Zaire?
Zaire.
Very good. How do you spell that?
Zaire.
And what was her last name?
Parada.
How do you spell that?
Parada.
She was living with you and your mother?
No, she was just there for the night.
Okay. Where does she normally stay at?
I believe she stayed in Sterling Glen Apartments at that time.
Okay. And so you contacted, did your sister ever hang out with Susanna? Did she know her?
Yes.
Okay. Now you contacted your sister and walk us through what happened when you contacted her.
I woke her up. She was sleeping, and I had told her that Susanna might possibly be in a car crash. So with that being said, she had contacted her boyfriend, which then me, my sister, and my sister's boyfriend went to the location to check.
All right. You say you went to the location. Do you remember what that location was?
It was these townhomes nearby our neighborhood.
And I'm going to show you something that's already been admitted as State's Exhibit number 51. This previously identified as the Oak Block Trace neighborhood here. Is this where you went?
Yes.
All right. Now, why did you go to that location? If you would, could you put up exhibit number, 51's not standing. That's the only one's not standing. The Oak Block Trace neighborhood, why did you go there?
This is where the location was at.
Okay. Now, you said the location. What location was that?
The location that Life 360 had said her phone was at.
I'm going to show you here, State's Exhibit has been admitted. Actually, I don't think it has been admitted yet. Let me show you this. Down here, State's Exhibit number 33. I know this is a big map down here, but I want to draw your attention down here to the bottom right-hand corner. Are you familiar with the area that you live in?
Yes.
Okay. And looking down here at this map on the bottom right-hand side, do you recognize this area?
Yes.
All right. And what is it?
A neighborhood?
Well, just very generally, is this the area, the neighborhood around which you live?
Yes.
Okay. Does it appear to be fair and accurate representation of the area where you live?
Yes.
All right. And then, of course, there's the much larger map of much of Gwinnett County here. As you look at that, just very generally, does this appear to be an accurate map of the area of Gwinnett County?
Yes.
All right. And Judge, I move to admit State's Exhibit number 33.
No objection.
Okay, State's Exhibit 33 is admitted without objection.
Just now publish this. Would you mind handing me that easel? Turn this, and I'm going to get out of the way. Okay. And would you mind coming down off the stand just to help me out here for a second?
What's your step? There's 2 steps there, okay?
If you can come around here, I'm going to turn this so the jury can see it that way. There we go. And Mr. Drake, if you need to move, of course, I'm probably blocking your view.
Ms. Drake, feel free to move wherever you need to move.
Down here on the right-hand side, we're here where it says Susanna Morales' home. Does that appear accurate to you? Where her home is? Okay. And because you're no longer in front of the microphones, you are soft-spoken. If you can, just speak up a little bit and make sure the court reporter and the jury can hear. The area over here where it says Oak Block Trace, is that where you went to go look for Susanna?
Yes.
You live across the street from Santa Ana, over here on Boyd Taylor, maybe kind of cut off a little bit over here. But how far is it from where your house is to the Oak Block Trace neighborhood where you went and looked?
Maybe around 5 to 6 minutes.
Is that if you're walking or if you're in a car?
In a car.
Okay. And that night, when you went to the Oak Block Trace neighborhood, were you walking there or were you in a car?
I was in a car.
All right. And who was in the car with you?
My sister and her boyfriend.
Was it your car or was it your sister's car?
My sister's car.
She picked you up?
Her car was at the house when we left.
That's right. She was staying at your house that night. Do you remember approximately what time it was whenever you guys left the house to go search the area?
10:50, maybe.
Okay.
Around that time.
And is this at 10:50 p.m.?
Yeah.
All right. Then you can have a seat back on the stand. This side of the seat.
tell us what you did when you got to the O'Clock Trace area.
I was on the phone with Kaya just so I could see, I could hear the location coming from Kaya's phone. And with that being said, my sister had Susanna's phone number. My sister was calling her phone to see maybe we could find it or find any debris of any sort of car crash. But that road and that neighborhood was very quiet that night. So obviously there was no car crash.
And that was going to be my next question. Did you see anything that looked like there had been a car crash?
No.
Now, when you're walking around, when you got there, did y'all just drive around the neighborhood or did you get out and walk?
We got out and walked.
And how much of the neighborhood did you walk around?
The whole neighborhood.
The road that O'Clock Trace is on, that neighborhood, the main road, Steve Reynolds Boulevard. Did you look in the Steve Reynolds Boulevard area there to see if you saw anything?
Yes.
Tell the jury, after going there that night, did you see anything any kind of trace of Susanna?
No.
Did you see her phone?
No.
When your sister called her phone, did y'all hear any ringing or any light or anything like that, or did you find her phone?
No.
How long do you think you were out there looking?
Most 20 minutes. We were out there for a while.
Okay. So you went out there looking. After about 20 minutes, tell us what happened, what you did.
After we had no trace of her or her phone, we just headed back home.
And what's going through your mind at this point?
I was just kind of freaking out because I know she was not at her friend's house. She was not at home. So I was just worried for her safety.
Now, was this kind of behavior from Susanna, disappearing and not telling anyone where she was at, not calling or responding to calls or text messages, was that like Susanna?
No.
And tell us what you mean by that.
For that behavior is very abnormal. She is definitely the type of person to let someone know, at least one person know where she is heading.
And you being her best friend, were you oftentimes that person?
Yes.
After you got back to your home, was it after 11 o'clock?
Yes.
Now, after you got back to your home, kind of tell us what happens the rest of the night, what's going on?
I'm just kind of trying to distract my mind from thinking the worst of her that could have happened to her. I'm still checking in with Kaya. She's still updating me on her location, being in the same neighborhood. And I didn't get much sleep. I waited till the morning.
So even after you got back to your home, you remained in communication with Kaya?
Yes.
And so was Kaya, while you're on the phone, was she providing you updates from Susanna's location on Life 360?
Yes.
And during that time, do you recall, did Susanna's location ever change from that O'Clock Trace area?
No.
At some point, did you ever use your Find My iPhone feature to try and see if you could find any information about Susanna?
Yes.
All right. And when, if you remember, when approximately did you do that?
A little bit after I had arrived home, so past 11.
Did you get any information from the Find My iPhone feature?
She was at the same location in the neighborhood.
Okay, so your Find My iPhone feature showed her at that O'Clock Trace area?
Yes.
Now, from the time that Kaya sent you the text message about the crash alert, from that time, how many times do you think you reached out to try and contact Susanna?
Every 10 minutes.
Now, how did you reach out to her? Were you calling or texting or social media?
Texting.
Now, at any point after that moment that Kaya sent you that crash alert, did you ever receive any response from Susanna?
No.
So you said after you got home, you kind of checking, and then throughout the night, did you remain checking throughout the entire night, or did you go to sleep? What occurred?
Eventually, I did fall asleep.
By the time you had fallen asleep, had you received any really new information from anybody about where Susanna was at?
No.
When you got up the next morning, just kind of tell us what happened.
I got up the next morning. I had contacted Kaya. She said that she had already spoken to Jasmine and that they had filed a police report. But as we all know, you have to wait 48 hours for a missing person they can start looking for them. So we decided to look on our own.
So the next day, you continued searching?
Yes.
And tell the jury what you did in efforts to locate Susanna the next day.
The next day, I met up with her sister, Jasmine Morales, and the O'Clock complex homes, and we just searched for her around there. At that moment, we had already made flyers looking for her as a missing person, and we had received a phone call that was saying that they basically had her. Of course, us not knowing anything, we got scared, so we called 911, and that is when an officer arrived to the scene.
Okay. Now, you said you got a call. how did people, did you get the call?
I believe it was Jasmine that had gotten that call.
Okay. Throughout looking for Susanna, did you receive phone calls from people claiming to have seen Susanna or know where she was at or have taken her or something like that?
Yes.
And ultimately, did you, attempt to follow up and see if any of those things were accurate?
Sometimes.
Did you ever find any of the information that people gave you, these tips that people called you with, to be accurate?
No.
How did people get your phone number to call you?
I had made a flyer with my phone number on it,
You put was it your personal cell phone number on it?
my personal cell phone number.
How many calls from strangers did you get because of the phone number you put on the flyer?
Throughout the whole time of her disappearance, probably over 1,000 phone calls.
Okay. And during that period of time, did anybody provide you, from those calls, did anybody provide you information that helped you identify where Susanna was at or what had happened to her?
No.
A few days after Susanna disappeared, do you recall getting a phone call from a blocked or private number?
Yes.
All right. And did you know who was on the other end of that phone call talking to you?
No.
Male or female?
Male.
All right. And when the person called you from the private or blocked number, what was that person asking you about?
That person was just asking me if there was any updates on the case, whether we had found her or not, just wondering about the case.
And did the person ever identify themselves?
No.
Did the person ever tell you that they were a police officer or law enforcement looking into the disappearance of Susanna?
I do not recall that.
And the individual on the other line, did they ever provide you with a name or any kind of contact information on how to reach out to them and talk to them?
No.
Did you and Susanna ever talk about boys?
Yes.
Talk about boyfriends or boys that you might like, things like that?
Yes.
Did you know Susanna's boyfriend, Axel?
Yes.
Did you ever hang out with him?
I was there when she met him.
Okay, so you knew him from the beginning.
Yes.
And how long before Susanna was taken did she meet him?
I do not recall an exact date.
Okay. And I don't need an exact date. Just give us an idea, if you can. How long had they been talking?
Maybe a month or two.
And tell us, how did Susanna feel about Axel?
She had just gotten out of a really toxic relationship, so Axel was her fresh breath of air. She really liked him.
And you knew Susanna. So because she really liked Axel, was she the type of person that would have just decided to randomly go out and hook up with somebody else instead of Axel?
No.
The night that she disappeared, really that whole day, do you recall, did you have any messages with Susanna that day?
None.
Susanna, did you ever know her to just run away and not tell anybody where she was going?
No.
How was her relationship with her mother?
As any daughter-mother relationship, there was flaws, but for the most part, they got along well.
And she loved her mother?
Yes.
Did Susanna ever come to your home to stay whenever she would get into an argument with her mother or anything like that?
Yes.
Would she text her mother, or at least let her know where she was at?
For the most part, yes.
Now, after Susanna's disappearance, and I don't need an exact number, but you kind of told us about the day after and going and looking for her back at the Oak Lawn Trace. Did you ever go and look after that day, up until she was found? Did you ever go looking other places and canvassing and trying to find Susanna?
Yes.
If you can give us an idea, how many times?
20.
And what kind of areas would you go? Where would you go look, and what would you do?
We would go to different towns, Lilburn, Johns Creek. We went in the Alpharetta area, just going around parks, putting up flyers.
Did you ever find any trace of Susanna?
No.
Well, let me ask you, how did you find out that Susanna's body was located?
I had gotten a phone call from a friend, and he had told me over the phone.
Okay. Her body was located on February 6th. Do you have any idea how long after that or what day it was that you found out?
I found out that same day when they had put it on the news.
Okay. And what went through your mind at that moment?
I was in shock and disbelief, as any person would be.
Had you ever met Miles Bryant, the defendant?
I didn't know who he was at the time, but I have met him before.
Okay. And you say you didn't know him at the time. I'm going to clarify. Did you have a friendship with or a personal relationship with the defendant anyway?
No.
Had you seen him before?
Yes.
Okay. Now, tell the jury about how many times had you seen him before, if you know?
I would see him around the apartments every once in a while, so maybe 3 to 5 times.
Okay. Now, did you know, seeing him around the apartment complex, are you talking about the Sterling Glen Apartments?
Yes.
And did you know that he was a police officer?
No.
Let me ask you, did you ever have any time, not just seeing him, but having any kind of conversation?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
There was an instance where me and Susanna were walking in the Sterling Glen Apartments when we were walking to a gas station right outside of the entranceway, where he had stopped in a black truck asking us if we needed a ride. We had heard from some other people in the neighborhood.
Objection, Your Honor.
I'm going to sustain that objection.
I'm sorry. What was the
Oh,
objection?
I think it's hearsay. Yeah.
I heard from some other.
Oh, okay. So, ma'am, I'm just going to instruct you not to testify about what anyone else told you. Okay?
That's all right. You were talking about walking to the gas station when, and continue from there. You said that the defendant pulled up in his black truck.
Yes.
All right, tell us about what happened when he pulled up.
He was just asking us if we needed a ride, where we were heading. We denied the ride, and we both continued on with our day.
Did you and Susanna talk about that interaction?
Not afterwards, no.
And what was your feeling about that interaction with the defendant?
It wasn't odd for us to get, we were young girls in a neighborhood. It wasn't odd for us to get asked if we needed a ride anywhere. So we just kind of laughed it off and didn't talk about it.
So at the time, and it may be easier for us to look at a map here. Could you put up exhibit number 53rd and minute as kind of as an overall map of Sterling Glen Apartments? You'll be able to see it here on your television. There we go. All right, can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So State's Exhibit 50, here, the Sterling Glen Apartments. Can you see here on this map where that interaction with the defendant took place?
Yes.
All right, and can you point on your screen, if you can, where that took place?
It was around here where the entrance is, because I remember we were walking past the garbage and it smelled bad.
Okay, so you pointed to, and I'm going to show you over here, just over in this, is this area that you're talking about?
More up
Okay, up here?
to the left,
To the left.
right there.
Okay. This area right here, is this the main entrance to Sterling Glen Apartments?
Yes.
And where's the gas station that you're walking to?
It's more up there towards the top right corner.
This is labeled on this map as a BP gas station. Is that the gas station that you were going to?
Yes.
Okay. And the defendant, do you remember what kind of truck it was?
I do not remember what type of truck it was.
That's all right. Now, how long did that interaction last?
Very few moments, maybe max 3 minutes, not long at all.
Okay. After you declined to get in his truck, where did he go? Do you remember?
He was entering the apartments and he just drove off.
So he was coming into the apartments as you and Susanna were walking out of the apartments?
Yes.
And after that, he just continued on into the apartment complex?
Yes.
Did you go to the gas station?
Yes.
Okay. Were there any other times that you had an interaction with the defendant?
Not one-on-one interactions, no.
I'm sorry?
Not one-on-one interactions.
Okay. Other than that one actual interaction, any other time you saw the defendant was just in passing?
Yes.
Okay. Those are all the questions I have for you. Thank you, Rose.
The defense may have some questions for you.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I am good. I just have a couple of questions for you. You mentioned, well, you didn't specifically say, so I want to clarify something. When you would be with all the other girls, would Susanna be smoking marijuana?
Yes.
Are you familiar with any other drugs that she has used?
No.
Do you remember giving an interview to Corporal Conway back in January. It was actually in the early morning hours, 12:33 in the morning. 2 officers came to your home.
Yes.
Do you remember telling him that she's never done anything greater than pot or acid?
Yes.
When Susanna would ingest drugs, did she know her limits?
Yes.
And you recall telling the cop that as well? I should say officer, not you slide. The officer, do you remember telling him that as well?
I don't remember telling him that, but I could have.
Okay, all right, thank you, ma'am.
Anything further? May we release this witness?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. All right, ma'am, you can step down. You can stay in the courtroom or you can leave. State calls next witness.
Axel Zaragoza.
Good morning. You come up on the podium and if you raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that your testimony in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, please be seated. And sir, have you ever testified in court?
No.
Okay. This is my court reporter, Sheila. She's taking down everything that is said in the courtroom, including your responses. And since she doesn't have eyes in the back of her head, she cannot tell if you nod or if you say nod or in the affirmative. She also can't take down uh-huhs or uh-uhs. So we may say, is that a yes? Is that a no? To make sure the record is perfected. We also going to need you to speak up. You're going to have to get close to the microphone so that the jury and my court reporter can hear you. Also, you may anticipate the questions of the attorneys and you may want to jump in and answer. Wait till they finish talking, because if you start talking over them, my court reporter doesn't know whose testimony to take down, okay? Okay, so just chill. There's water there if you would like some, okay?
All right, good morning, how are you?
Good, and you?
Good. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury? Tell us your name.
My name's Axel Zaragoza.
And would you mind spelling your name for us?
AXELZARAGOZA.
Axel, how old are you?
17.
And Axel, back in July of 2022, how old were you then?
I was 16.
16.
Yeah.
All right. And so when do you turn 18?
This year.
This year. All right. Now, are you in school?
I just graduated.
Graduated. Fantastic. And where'd you graduate from?
Meadow Creek High School.
Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I want to ask you, do you know Susanna Morales?
Yes.
And tell the jury how you know her.
She was my girlfriend. I met her in the May of 2022. I met her at the gym,
And tell us, what gym are you talking about?
Planet Fitness.
Where was that at?
Jimmy Carter.
Now, we all both just in there working out?
Yeah, I was about to leave. I saw her, so I had to come back and get her number.
Okay, very good. And when you asked for her number, did she give you her number?
Yeah.
After that, that was May 2022. Walk us through, I guess, a little bit about that. Did you end up starting a relationship with her?
Yes, we did.
And how long after you met her did it really start?
Probably like a little bit over a month.
Okay. Now, I have learned as I've gotten older that teenagers use different terms than I do. During that period of time, from you met her to really when you started a relationship, were y'all talking?
Yeah.
Okay. And so just kind of the getting to know you phase?
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. How did y'all mostly communicate at that time?
We were talking a lot on the phone. We would also hang out in person.
And where would you hang out at?
The first place we hung out, I think, was the lake.
Okay. What lake was it?
Lake Lanier.
All right. And when do you think, best you can remember, kind of a official relationship started?
Probably towards the end of May or early June.
Now, how often would you see Susanna?
At least once a week, twice a week.
Okay. When y'all would see each other, where would y'all generally hang out?
Either like we would go to the movies or like out to eat.
Would you ever spend time at her house?
Once.
Did she ever spend time with you at your house?
Yes.
Now, where do you live at?
On Tucker.
in Tucker.
Yeah.
How far was it from your home to Susanna's home on Santa Ana?
9 minutes.
9 minutes.
Yeah.
You know exactly
Yeah.
how long it took you to get there. Is that by driving or walking?
Driving.
Did you drive at the time?
No.
And so if she would come to your house or you would go to her house, how would you guys get back and forth?
My dad would go pick her up.
Dad would go pick her up, bring her back to your house?
Mhm.
And again, you have to.
Oh, yes. Yes. Sorry.
You're doing fine. How often would you hang out at your house?
Probably hang out next in my house like 2-3 times.
And who do you live with?
My parents.
You have any siblings that live there with you?
My brother.
Okay. So you, your brother, and your parents?
Yes.
So when you would go to the movies or out to eat, how would y'all get to the movie theater or the restaurant that you were going to go to?
My parents would drop us off.
So would your parents pick her up with you in the car?
Yes.
So Jeff, I don't really understand the relevance of any of this.
Judge, I'm just trying to have him lay a little foundation with his relationship with Susanna and a little foundation.
Okay, I'm going to overrule the objection.
Now, I want to take you to, before I go there, did you like Susanna?
Of course.
And do you feel like she liked you?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you love her?
Yeah.
How would you describe Susanna?
She was really like uplifting. She was nice to everybody. She was a really loving person.
Did y'all have a good relationship?
Yeah, we did.
July 26th, 2022, the day that Susanna was taken, did you talk to her that day?
Yes, I did.
Kind of tell the jury about that day and your conversations with Susanna.
She called me over the phone before she left to Kelly's house. And also, right before she left her house, she also called me saying that she was going to go out with friends to go smoke. And she'll call me when she get home.
In the phone call, did y'all just pick up the telephone or was it a
FaceTime call?
FaceTime call. So if you remember, do you remember approximately what time it was that evening when Susanna FaceTimed you to say she was going to Kelly's house?
4.
Okay. And then were there two FaceTime calls or just one?
Two.
Okay. So when was the first one?
Like around 4.
Okay. And in that call, what did y'all talk about?
We were just talking about her day.
Did she tell you at that point that she was going to go anywhere?
Yes.
Okay. Where did she say she was going to go?
She said she was going to go to Kelly's house.
Did you know Kelly?
Not personally.
Through Susanna, did she tell you about Kelly?
Yes.
Okay. Had you ever met her?
No.
Did you know where Kelly lived at?
No.
So when Susanna told you she was going to go to Kelly's house, did you know where approximately she was going to go?
She said it was like 5 minutes walking distance.
You said there was a second call.
Yes.
And what was the second call?
She was telling me pretty much that she was going to go smoke with her friends and that she would call me when she got home.
All right. And what time, if you remember, was that second call?
Around 8.
Okay. So at the time she called you the second time to tell you she was going to go and smoke, was she at home at that time?
No.
Okay. Do you remember where she was?
She was in Kelly's apartments.
Okay. So she was already with Kelly at that time?
Yes.
Were you able to see Kelly in the FaceTime video?
No.
How long do you think that phone call lasted?
I don't remember.
It's okay. Now, there, she said she was going to call you once she left Kelly's house?
No, once she got home.
Once she got home, okay. Tell us again, did you ever hear from her again that night?
No.
Did she call you when she was on her way home or had gotten home?
No.
What was the first time that you realized something might be wrong with Susanna?
When she wasn't answering her phone at all.
So tell me, did you try to call her?
Yes.
And what time was that? If you know.
Probably like around 1 in the morning.
Okay. Now, at that time, by the time you had tried to call her, had anybody contacted you to tell you anything about that there might be an issue or a problem?
Esmeralda called me around 1 in the morning saying if she was with me because she wasn't answering her phone, she wasn't home. And I said that she wasn't with me. So that's when I tried to call her.
Okay. So at 1 o'clock in the morning, you tried calling. Did you get any response?
No.
Did you try texting her?
Yes.
Did you get any response?
No.
And did you try social media?
Yes.
And what kind of social media did you guys communicate on?
Instagram and Snapchat.
And did you receive any response from her on either of those platforms?
No.
What'd you do at that time?
I told my mom.
Okay. Were you at home at that time?
Yes, I was.
1 o'clock in the morning, were your parents awake or did you have to wake your mom up?
I had to wake my mom up.
And why'd you do that?
Because I started getting like uneased because she wasn't answering because normally she would always answer me even if she was sleeping.
You talked to Esmeralda that night. Did you know Esmeralda?
Yes,
Had you ever met her or hung out with her?
once.
Did you have her number as well, Esmeralda's number?
No, I had her Instagram.
Instagram. So did Esmeralda contact you on Instagram or she call you?
She called me on Instagram.
Called you on Instagram. Okay, so you can make phone calls on Instagram?
Yes.
Before Esmeralda had contacted you, did you have any indication from anywhere that something was wrong with Susanna?
No.
Now, you expected a phone call from Susanna when she got home. Did you have any idea what time that was supposed to be or when she was going to be home?
No, I didn't know.
Now, when Esmeralda called you, were you already asleep or were you kind of up waiting for the call from Susanna?
Yeah, I was waiting for the call.
Had you tried, after you FaceTimed with her when she was over at Kelly's house, did you try reaching out to her before Esmeralda called you?
No.
Did you receive any messages from Susanna while she was with Kelly and Alyssa?
No.
Did you know Kelly or Alyssa?
No.
At the time that, back on July 26th, and really expanded out a little bit before then, right? That part of the relationship was a new relationship, but did you ever suspect that Susanna was seeing other guys or talking to other guys besides you?
No.
Would that, if she had been, would that have surprised you?
Yeah.
And why is that?
I don't know. It would have.
Another way of saying is, you didn't suspect her of running around on you or meeting up with other guys or anything like that?
No.
And did you mentioned a moment ago that obviously Susanna told you she was going to smoke. You knew she smoked marijuana?
Yes.
Did you ever smoke with her?
No.
And did you know how often she smoked?
No, I don't remember.
And when she told you that she was going to smoke, was that odd to you?
No.
Now, did you ever know Susanna to run away and not come home?
No.
Did you ever know her to stay out and where her mom didn't know where she was and not communicate with her mom?
No, her mom always knew where she was.
Did you know her mom?
Yeah.
And how many times had you met her mother?
Probably like twice.
When you guys would, in a dating relationship, when y'all would see each other, would you mostly see each other around each other's families or kind of separate and apart when you were out at dinner or movies alone?
Both.
Both, kind of half and half?
Yeah.
Okay. And how did you find out? Well, let me ask this before we get there. After she disappeared that night and you talked to Esmeralda, kind of walk us through what you did.
Well, I went to go talk to my mom, telling her that, Susie isn't appearing. She's not answering her phone. So she called her mom, and her mom thought she was asleep at a friend's house.
Okay. So your mother called Susanna's mother?
Yes.
Okay. And then, so once that phone call happened, kind of tell us what happened.
I went to sleep, and I woke up the next morning, and that's when I called Jasmine. Esmeralda gave me Jasmine's number.
Susanna's sister?
Yes.
And you called her and said what?
I don't remember.
Why did you call her?
Because I care about Susie.
Sure. And you wanted, well, let me ask you, what did y'all talk about when you called Jasmine? What happened?
Well, at first she asked me if she was at my house because she didn't come home all night. And I said, no, she wasn't at my house.
Okay. At what point did you really become concerned that something had happened to Susie?
When she didn't answer the next morning.
So even when you talked to Esmeralda that night and
So I know I've been letting it play, y'all, so y'all can listen. I know I've been letting it play. So for those that don't know, hadn't caught on, he's the boyfriend, y'all. So she had a boyfriend at the time. They had not been together like that long, and then she was so young. But this is the boyfriend, y'all.
thought maybe, what did you say?
Maybe she fell asleep.
The next morning, did you try reaching back out to Susie?
Yes.
And did you get any response?
No.
When you talked to Jasmine and confirmed she wasn't at your house, what did you do?
She came to pick me up, and we filed a police report.
Who picked you up?
Jasmine and her mom.
So where did you go with them to file the police report?
To their house.
Now, so were you present when the police showed up and to file the report?
Yes.
Did you talk to the police?
No.
After filing the police report, what happened?
They told us we had to wait 48 hours, I think it was.
And you get that directed from the police, right? They can't list her as a missing person until 48 hours. What did you do?
I don't remember.
Let me ask you, did you go looking for Susie?
Yeah.
And with that day or other days?
That same day too.
That same day. All right, where'd you go?
I think we went to where her last location was.
Had you received those phone screenshots as well that documented her location?
Yes.
Who'd you go with, if you remember, to look?
My parents and Jasmine and her mom.
You went to that area where you believed her phone to be the last location, and when you got there, walk us through what you did.
We pretty much just searched around like the outer woods of those duplexes.
Okay. And you looked in the woods?
Yeah, we were trying to find a phone.
Did you?
No.
Did you find any information about Susie?
No.
Did you talk to anybody there at that neighborhood?
I don't remember.
Now, how long do you think that you were out there looking that day?
Probably a couple hours.
After y'all stopped searching that day, did you ever go back anywhere and look for Susie?
Yes.
Tell us kind of what efforts you made looking for her.
We would drive around to different apartments, different places, see if we could see anything, if we could find anything at all.
When you were driving around, who were you with?
Jasmine, her mom, my dad.
Now, when you were driving around, you said you went to different apartment complexes, different areas?
Yes.
Any particular reason you chose those areas to look at?
They were close by.
So it's more just kind of randomly looking around at different areas around?
Yes.
Did you ever find at any point any information about Susanna's disappearance?
No.
If you know, you can give us an estimate if you need to. How many times did you go out looking for Susie?
Pretty much every day since she went missing.
It was over 6 months later before her body was found. Did you spend that entire time between her disappearance and her being found looking for her?
Yes.
During that time, did you ever find anything?
No.
How did you find out that the police located her?
I was at work and Esmeralda called me saying that they had found her body.
What went through your mind at that point?
At first, I couldn't comprehend it. I didn't want to believe it.
Did you still think she would show up and come home?
Yeah.
When you found out, did you find out the general area where her body was found?
I found out on the news later that day.
That area out in Tequila, did you have any information, any knowledge about why Susanna would be out there in that area?
No.
Did she know anybody there?
No.
The area where you went and looked at O'Clock Trace, that area, the next morning, did you know of any reason she had to be there?
No.
Those are all the questions I have for you guys, so thank you.
Defense may have some questions for you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir. I'm sorry for your loss. I just have a couple of questions for you. Did Susanna have a good relationship with her dad? Do you know?
I don't remember. She said it wasn't the best.
And also, we talked a little bit about that she liked pot. Are you aware of any other drugs that she used?
No.
Do you remember going to the police station and giving a statement to two investigators and talking to them about a picture?
I didn't go to the police station.
Oh, they came and maybe you didn't know your mom?
No.
Okay, do you remember talking to them and telling them about a picture that she had sent you with an acid tab on her tongue?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so anything other than acid and marijuana?
No.
Or she never shared with you, or you never came to,
Now see, okay, so apparently, the young lady must have tried something else, acid or whatever, I don't know, but I'm still trying to figure out. And I guess it's gonna come. I don't know. I don't know if this. Like, I know she's doing her job. She's still an ass. I don't like her. She and another reason why I don't like her. She reminds me. I don't think this is weird. She reminds me of the guy that killed my son. She reminds me of his attorney. I mean, she was a weird white lady, just like this lady. Her hair was cut kind of funny. She reminds me of that lady. So I'm gonna just be honest and say I don't like her. I don't like her. But it's like the way she come across and the questions she's asking. So we found out that apparently Susanna may have tried something else other than weed. I'm still trying to figure out what does that have to do with what happened to her. I mean, I say I get what defense attorneys do and why they have to do it, but yeah. So yeah.
Find out that she had ever tried anything like crystal meth.
Well, she said she tried it once.
All right, thank you.
The pill that she tried once, whatever that photograph was, did you talk to her about it?
No.
Did she ever tell you about that experience of trying that?
No.
Do you know how, the photograph that Ms. Drake was talking about? Do you have any idea when that was?
I don't remember.
Yes. Do you know if whatever it was she tried the one time, was that before your relationship began with her?
Yes.
So after you're in the relationship with her, she told you about this one time she tried something.
Yes.
Did she say anything about not liking it or anything like that?
Yes. She said she felt disgusted with herself after trying it.
Disgusted with herself after trying it?
Yes.
Thank you.
No further questions. Thank you, sir.
May we release this witness?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, sir, you can step down. You can stay in the courtroom or you can leave. Call its next witness.
This one called Lieutenant Xavier Favors.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am. I do.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
I'm all right.
Could you introduce yourself to the jury and tell us your name?
Hey, my name is Lieutenant Xavier Maurice Biggers, badge 1059.
And Lieutenant Biggers, if you could, would you spell your name for the jury?
Yes, it's XA, B as in Victor, IER. Biggers, B as in Bravo, IGGERS.
Now, I can obviously see the uniform and we have a badge number from you. Who do you work for?
I work for Gwinnett County Police Department.
And how long have you worked for the Gwinnett County Police Department?
Just over 18 years.
Now, prior to being employed with Gwinnett County Police, did you have any other law enforcement experience?
No, sir.
You are a lieutenant now with the Gwinnett County Police Department. What is your current role with the police department?
My role is to basically supervise the uniform units at the East Precinct, making sure that I'm incident command when there's needed, and supervise the sergeants and the patrolmen that run the shift every day.
Uniform Patrol Division. Give the jury a brief description of what is the Uniform Patrol Division.
The Uniform Patrol Division is is basically the officers answering the 911 dispatch calls. A lot of times they're mentoring the children in the community. We do a lot of community affairs events. Their job is to make sure that the laws are being upheld by the citizens of Gwinnett County.
And the Uniform Patrol Division, that's really the most visible element of the Gwinnett County Police Department, right? The marked vehicles who are driving around on the roadways here in Gwinnett County.
Yes, sir.
Now, you are assigned to the East Precinct. Generally, what area is that?
That's typically Decula, a little bit of Lawrenceville, some of Buford, and a little of the area around Archer High School, before Archer High School off New Point and New Hope Road, and pretty much the country areas of Gwinnett, which is like Hawk Mountain Road, areas like that, Kilcrest.
How long have you been in this current role out there at the East Precinct?
Just over a year and a half.
Prior to that assignment with Uniform Patrol, what was your previous assignment?
You mean list them all, or just the last one?
Directly before that.
Oh, I was the sergeant over the Special Victims Unit.
All right, and describe for the jury, what is the Special Victims Unit?
The Special Victims Unit basically investigate crimes against children, sexual assault cases, exploitation of the elderly, and things of that nature.
How long were you part of the, and I think you supervised it as a sergeant, how long were you a
Thank you,
supervisor of the
Dave.
Special Victims?
Right at about 3 years.
Now, during July of 2022, when Susanna Morales was taken, what was your assignment?
My assignment was just I was the sergeant of the unit. Actually, I was actually the on-call sergeant for that weekend, so I kind of knew what had occurred when the sergeant from the West Precinct had called just to notify me that this had occurred, and every avenue that possibly could have been done on their end, as far as canvassing the area and interviewing people nearby what had been done. And so I had a sense of what I was going to have to do the next day when I got into work.
So on-call sergeant, what does that mean?
It would basically mean that any instance of a major occurrence, we make the decisions on whether or not the on-call investigators needing to go out to a scene. And also we're almost more like a supervisor notification, just in case there are other things that need to be done at a scene.
Can you tell us generally when a missing person report comes in, when somebody files a missing person report, what is the protocol? How does that work at the police department?
Sure. So typically we'll get the missing person report. We gather information on the identity of the person. Typically at that point, it's given to our what is called the assistant administrator, which you will give the family members a call to get more detail, whether that's to get a picture that will be able to assemble out into the public. On top of that, they were just how things go. They want to make sure they got medical records. And then after about, I would say typically when it comes to missing runaways, they typically within the 2 weeks, we typically find them just because of just the technology world. But if after 30 days if the victim is not found, the case is now given to a detective to do more work into trying to figure out what's going on.
So there are numerous different detective divisions of the Gwinnett County Police Department, special victims being one of those. For instance, the homicide unit. Is there a homicide unit at Gwinnett County Police Department?
Yes, sir.
Now, when a homicide occurs in Gwinnett County, are detectives immediately dispatched and start investigating a homicide?
Yes, sir. And in fact, all of them are dispatched.
When it comes to a missing persons report, you mentioned that after about 30 days, at that point, a detective might be assigned to look into it. What's the reasoning for the kind of the difference in response on assignment of detectives?
Sure, because we have to determine whether or not foul play has occurred during that time frame. Majority, we average about 50, 60 missing persons runaway reports a month, and typically within the first couple of weeks they return home, but in order for us to really truly think that it needs to be worked as a person has been abducted or foul play of a criminal act has occurred, we really do need some type of information to go off of and not literally just go off the fact that they're missing, that something has occurred in that nature.
In this particular case, I'm going to back up before. As a sergeant of the Special Victims Unit, have you obtained any particularized training in special victims cases?
Yes.
What kind of training have you gone through?
I've gone through Child First. I've gone investigation how to handle exploitation of the elderly. I've gone through strangulation training, sexual assault trainings, pretty much anything that dealt with a crime of sexual assaults.
And without us revisiting your 18-year career, generally, if you know, how many different times, you ballpark for us, have you been involved in a case of a missing person?
Like truly missing?
Yes.
I've done several of them, to be honest with you. Even when I was actually the detective as an SVU detective. So I was, I'm pretty mindful of what goes on in those situations. So back in the day, they just immediately used to just automatically sign them. And, you have like 5, 10, 20 missing person reports that you was having to work on all at one time. So I've done my share.
Okay. In this case, walk the jury through if you can. Just tell us, you mentioned you were the on-call sergeant when Susanna's disappearance was reported, but walk us through your involvement. How did you really get involved in the investigation into Susanna Morales' disappearance?
Okay. As I said before, I knew that this had occurred. A day later, I got a call from Jasmine. She said that she really wanted to talk with me just to let me know what had occurred, what may have occurred to her sister. Jasmine and her mother, Miss Guadalupe, and Esmeralda actually came up to the headquarters, and I met with them in our conference room. And, Miss Guadalupe doesn't speak a lot of English, so Jasmine translated for her mother and basically was advised that Susanna was was going over to Esmeralda House for during that time frame, but I think later they realized that she did not go to Esmeralda's house, and at that point, her mother, made contact with her to let her know that you're not supposed to be over at Kelly's house, and that I was on my way to pick you up. And Susanna told her, no, don't come pick me up. I'm just going to walk home. And so she walked home, and then Jasmine said that after a while she realized that Susanna had not gotten home yet, and so she pulled up the family's 360. Just to see where her whereabouts were. And it looked like she was walking on to Singleton Road. And then all of a sudden, her GPS basically took off. It showed it going 40 miles per hour the opposite way. And then about 100 yards away, the connection just went away. She really felt adamant that something had happened to Susanna. And I'll be honest with you, every case that we get, a lot of families always say they think something has occurred. And then once we get into the phones and things, we notice that they actually ran away because of the different information that we receive of the phones once we collected data from the phones when we receive them. And we noted that they has been in touch with their friends, and typically that's how we end up finding them.
Right. And so it sounds like the overwhelming majority of juvenile runaway cases, it's a case of a child just not wanting to come home.
Yes.
Is that your experience?
Yes.
When you met with the family shortly after her disappearance, was it the next day, or do you know how long?
It was literally 2 days later.
When you met with them, was there anything that stood out about Susanna's disappearance that might have been different than a normal juvenile runaway?
Just for me, the anguish and the sadness and the that the mother posed it.
Oh wow!
Sorry.
Oh wow! You rarely see a police officer break down on the stand, y'all. This is sad. Wow.
Would you like some water?
I have a daughter the same age, and my wife is Hispanic, and it really touched me that I felt that it was my duty to try to find her, because I know that feeling of being a parent and very worried about your child. And I'm very passionate about my job, and I do care about, making sure that, we find these children when something like that happens. And I made sure that I told Jasmine that I will give my all, and to make her feel comfortable to know that I was going to do my job to try to find her sister, because they were very adamant that their sister had been taken against her will because she would just not run away. And so I continued doing the investigation, and assigned several detectives to, first of all, I actually got all the friends' names and that Jasmine knew of that Susanna, dealt with. And then I assigned detectives to look into interviewing all of those friends and family members and making sure that we gathered their phones so that we were able to do a phone download for their to check on their records.
You mentioned that a moment ago too. In an investigation like this, describe to the jury what's the real significance of getting phones from the friends and family members and stuff like that of somebody who's missing?
Yes, because typically when we have that situation, whether the parents cannot get in contact with them, you see the text messages, the phone calls, and you see all of that information when you look at their phone records to see that there has been some communications between back and forth with the person that is missing, and with people that they feel that they're entrusted in that would not let anyone know about their disappearance.
So when a kid runs away, it's short, they might tell a friend.
Yes, absolutely.
There's been, in most of your investigations, are there text messages, phone calls, social media messages between the missing person and some friends and some friend group?
Yes.
In the efforts initially of investigating this case, did the detectives that were assigned, that you assigned to go and talk to the friends, did they obtain phones from friends?
Sorry. Yes, sir.
Were those phones looked at by the police department?
Yes, they were, sir.
Do you recall whose phones were taken?
I believe Axel's phone was taken, Esmeralda, Kelly, Detective Corporal. Let's see, who else took some other phones? There were some other friends that along the way, I don't remember their actual names, but there were some other friends that names that were actually taken as well. I believe when. Do
you recall a young lady named Alyssa Marvin?
I don't remember. No, I think that came out a little bit later when Corporal Carter took over the investigation and found a lot of that information out.
Did the police department review those phone downloads from the friends?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
In reviewing those, looking for those clues, those messages that oftentimes are there, did the police department locate any messages from Susanna to any of her friends indicating where she had gone?
No, sir, and that troubled me because the fact that the time frame when she went missing at that time, there were no interactions other than people asking, "Hey, where are you?" And there were no interaction back. And typically, in my experience, we usually see that communication going on. And the fact that with so many of her friends that she are involved with, like truly involved with, there were no communication at all on their phone from her. And that troubled me to the point where I felt that I wanted to get homicide involved so that we can treat this in that manner.
I'm going to ask for your personal involvement in this case. Did the police department ever disseminate any kind of flyer or information about Susanna's disappearance?
Yes, sir. In fact, that was one of the things that I got done. I actually did what we call it, be on the lookout bulletin. And our PIO actually sent that out so that it was a press release. So her name and photo was actually out there. I know that when I had met with Jasmine and Esmeralda, they really wanted to take it a step further by putting it on social media and actually doing flyers. But I kind of told them not to do that because in my experience of dealing with those type of things, people are very exploited from doing that because people know that they can actually extort them money by doing that. And well, behold, that ended up happening. And so people will contact Jasmine, but they will always say that they saw Susanna like yesterday or something, and they would never leave their name. And then I told Jasmine to make sure if they contact you, please make sure they give us a call because she was receiving a humongous amount of intel calls, but no one ever called the police. We never received not one call.
That behavior, that you described it as exploitive behavior. Did you see that commonly when family members or friends start posting their phone numbers and contact information like that?
Yes, absolutely. And that's why I didn't want them to do it. But I did understand the reason why. I mean, I would have done it for my kid too.
Now, when those calls, you said none of those calls came to the police department, but would you be contacted by family members, by Susanna's family, to let you know about these types of calls?
Yes. Jasmine called me on a daily basis. I wanted her to call me at any time. It was 2:00 in the morning. It didn't matter. I actually neglected my family because I made sure that I went hunting for her, and it meant a lot to me. So,
walk us through a little bit of your efforts.
Let's see. I would anytime any information would come to Jasmine, I would immediately go and look. And obviously, it was after the time frame. There were many days where I would check in at work and I would immediately go down to Norcross and just stake out every area possible. I was very driven by it, and I would say more obsessed with the situation that I would even do it on my own time because every time I see my daughter in her face, I saw Jasmine.
Wow.
Jury comfort break. The jury's been going. I'm going to give the jury a comfort break. We're going to be adjourned until 5 till 11.
Wow. All right, y'all. So they're going to take a break. Let me go ahead and fast forward this to what we're going to come back to. And we're going to start up back tomorrow, y'all. All right, we're going to start right here tomorrow. All right, so listen, it's been 3 hours, y'all. So we're going to get out of here. We're going to stop it right here. And we're going to continue tomorrow, okay? With that being said, thank y'all so much for joining. I appreciate you all that come over here and support this content. I really, really do. I can't say it enough. Hopefully, everybody hit the like button. I think my lights are looking pretty good. If you're catching a replay, please hit the like button. Feel free to support the channel. Thank you, Ask Questions. I appreciate you, girl. Support the channel. We are going to continue with this tomorrow. Now, I know I said I was going to come on my Pain and Purpose channel this week, and I'm going to try. I do want to get caught up on this, though. I do want to get caught up on this, and so I can't say exactly when this week I'm going to actually get on that channel, but I'll try. But I do want to get caught up on this right here. So we're gonna be doing this every morning this week, trying to get caught up. I just don't like for these lives to be past 3 hours because I do want people to watch the replay. And a lot of times when your lives are really, really long, people tend not, don't get into the replay. So with that being said, we're gonna get out of here. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you, man. Thank you, Miss Margie. I appreciate you, girl. I'll see y'all in about an hour over on the T channel. And I'm gonna ask if I'm gonna give y'all a second if anybody got any questions about what's going on so far. I know most of you all that's in here has probably been here from the beginning, so y'all probably don't have too many questions or whatever. But if you got any questions you want me to answer when we come back, write them down, remember them, ask me, and I'll let you all know what's going on. Okay. With that being said, y'all have a beautiful rest of the day. For those that'll be over in the on the Chief channel later, I see y'all over there. But I do want to stress that I appreciate y'all supporting this content over here. Okay. With that being said, y'all be safe, be blessed, and never stressing until about an hour from now. I love y'all and I appreciate y'all, and we out. Love you too, amazing. Love you, girl.